Jerry Coleman. What's up, man? You good?
Can you get Ben Mike? He does very good. It's all right. Are you at all nervous about attendance?
Yeah. But it's one of those things you can't do a whole lot about.
I will be sick to my stomach.
We're coming in. Testing.
Good morning. Even if you are an exhibitor, we would love for you to come sit closer to the front. So when we record, people can see your head. That'd be amazing.
She's on alphabet.
So come on up to the front if you don't mind. We'll be starting in approximately 5 minutes. And we want to get you guys in.
Where's Robert?
All right, come on up to the front. We're recording and we want people to see little heads. So that means we need your little heads in the seat. If we can get some people up here on this side, that'd be amazing. Up in here, these first 3 rows. You can get your head in the shot. All right, come on in and if we can get you guys in these first 3 rows, that'd be amazing. Now, even if you're an exhibitor, we would love for you to come in and get one of these seats right up here in front. We'll trust that nobody's going to take any of your keys. Come on in the room. Please get a seat closer to the front. We'll be starting in approximately 1 minute, Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, it's only got one. What's up, Jane?
All right, it is 9:15 on the dot. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I put my big colorful shirt for you guys today. All right. Good morning, everybody. There we go. That's better. So I want you to start out with some really great energy, and I want you to give yourself a round of applause for getting up out of bed and spending your day with us today. All right? Today is going to be an awesome day. Small Business Summit at Cape Fear Community College Small Business Center. Now, how many of you were here last year? Okay, all right, we got some returns, but most of you guys are new, which is amazing. I totally love that. Now, I'm going to introduce myself really quickly. I'm Sheila Dennis Brown. My company is called Give It to the People, that we are conference curators. We curate conferences around the state. We're a mental wealth company that is focused on getting your mind right and your money right. Does that sound like something you want to do today? Okay, let's get our mind right and our money right. And we have plenty of resources in the building to be able to help you with that. Now, this would not be possible without two really awesome people. And one of them just happens to be somebody that is really awesome and magnificent. And he told me he didn't need a bio, so I'm not gonna do a bio. But when you get all of those 1 million emails that you get from them, you see his face on them, how many of you got those emails? 1 million emails, which is why you reminded me to come today. So, come on up, Jerry Coleman, the director of the Small Business Center.
What a great turnout. Thank you all so much for being here. Before I get started, there are a lot of small business support resources here in this community, right? So that's your first business lesson or tip for today is to take advantage of the resources that are available here to support your business. A lot of these are free or low-cost resources. And we have several of those partners here today that I want to recognize. Genesis Block. Tracy Gerard. Thank you. They're actually our food sponsor for today as well. Let's give them a big round of applause. Tracy, we're out of coffee, by the way. We're out of coffee.
Thank you.
I'd like to recognize the Small Business Technology and Development Center, Lori Monroe. So just a bit of trivia, the Small Business Technology and Development Center and the Small Business Center Network were founded in 1984. So can y'all do the math? 40 years. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. So we've literally worked with tens of thousands of entrepreneurs and small business owners over the last 40 years, helping them to plan, start, and grow their businesses. So yes. Sharon, good to see you. Thank you. Hey, Sharon. UNC Douglas Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Heather, Stan. And Heather. Thank y'all for being here. Our Cape Fear Sport chapter, Senior Corps of Retired Executives, Alan Armstrong, Rick Reed. Thank you all for being here. We have the North Carolina Department of Revenue. Where are they? Come on. I know it's fast. We have our North Carolina Military Business Center here. Carolina Community Impact. CDFI. Our instructors for today. All of our instructors are our partners, so you'll get a chance to meet all of them throughout the day today. So let's give them all a big round of applause. And all of our vendors, all of our small businesses that have come out to sell products and take advantage of this opportunity today. Let's give them a big round of applause. Please make sure you stop by those booths and buy some products together. All right, so let's get started. Again, my name is Jerry Coleman. I'm the director of the Small Business Center here at Cape Fear Community College. And I want to welcome you all to our second annual Small Business Summit. We are delighted to have you with us as we dive into today's theme, Navigate the Future, Strategies for Success in an Ever-Evolving Business Landscape. In the world where change is the only constant, it is vital for entrepreneurs like yourselves to stay ahead of the curve. Today, we will uncover key strategies to thrive in this dynamic new business world. We are here to explore how to consistently and effectively solve problems for both your internal and your external customers. Throughout the summit, you will have the opportunity to learn how to expand your reach both in person and online, ensuring your business is not only sustainable, but also prosperous. From engaging workshops and networking sessions, each summit is designed to spark innovation, foster connections, and equip you with the knowledge to navigate the future of your business. I'd like to share this quote, which I refer to often, from the book, The Ever-Evolving Enterprise by UNCW Professor Emeritus, Dr. Stephen Harper. Businesses that can sense sooner, analyze quicker, implement quicker, and adjust the plans as they are being implemented quicker, will evolve quicker, and get favorable results quicker. As we venture into the future, there are only two types of businesses: the quick and the dead. As you move forward with your business, do so quickly and with that sense of urgency. Hit number 2. Thank you all for joining us today. Let's embark on this journey of learning and growth together. Let the summit begin. I'd like to welcome John Downey. John is our Vice President of Economic and Workforce Development here at Cape Fear Community College, to share with you another welcome, but talk a little bit about kind of what's going on here at the college. John?
Good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Good morning.
Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Well, what a crowd. Now, you know, I read something yesterday that said that North Carolina was one of the top states that people are relocating to, whether it's domestically or whether they're coming from another country. And this area has also got some notoriety as well. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. With all these folks coming in and relocating here to this area, gives us some great opportunities and some challenges at the same time that we can take advantage of. So, one company last year announced that they were going to bring in 500 new jobs to this area. 150 of those are engineers that will be working at this plant, and they're already here. So that's 150 engineers buying homes, goods and services, and then all the other folks that are coming in. So it makes North Carolina just really right and grow, and really right for you guys to expand your small businesses. So that kind of opportunity is really good. And then with the port facility expanding so that we can get larger ships in, they're bringing in more freight. And with the cold storage facilities at the port, they're now bringing in fruit that we don't normally see in certain seasons. So we're getting a lot of stuff. That means more freight that has to be hauled, more expansion, more business, more contracts, more opportunities for you guys to do what you do best. Now, where does Cape Fear fit in this? So on behalf of Cape Fear Community College, we thank you for coming to our site. We are one of 58 community colleges that serve 100 counties in the state of North Carolina. Now, our general service area is Pender, New Hanover County. But we are, I'm going to brag a little bit, we're the 5th largest community college in terms of numbers out of the 58. And we are the largest community college east of Interstate 95 in North Carolina. And you're going to see a lot of programs here at this community college that you won't see in other community colleges because of our size. You know, with 265,000 people in New Hanover County, 65,000 in Pender, Brunswick County's growing like crazy. I think they've got 150. And they tell me that there are 100,000 more people every summer. They're coming down to take advantage of the beaches. Again, that is more people that demand goods and services that can be serviced by you and your companies. So this is a great place to be. Now, our footprint in this area includes, obviously, the Small Business Center. You know, Jerry has won all kinds of awards, and I jokingly tell him that, you know, in lunchtime, Jerry's teaching people to to walk across the water to the battleship and come back. But Jerry is great. He's known throughout the state as having answers and very solid advisor for the Small Business Center. It has grown so much, and he has helped so many people in this area. So the Small Business Center is awesome. And then Jan Yoakley heads up our North Carolina Edge. Jan, raise your hand.
All right.
That are in a sector that's expanding or relocating to this area, and they are eligible for economic programs that the state offers to help them expand and add, add full workforce, and they put capital investment in. So a lot of those companies that I mentioned that are coming in, they'll be talking to Jan, and they'll be working with her. So she gets the first look at a lot of these companies that are relocating. And believe me, we just had one that announced that they were going to relocate from Canada to come here. And that's just one thing. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline. There's more companies expanding as well. So things are looking good. And then we got military business development. Now, if you're a company and you want your hand on a Department of Defense contract, the person you want to see is Olivia Carroll. Lift, raise your hand. And then we sell corporate sales to companies that want to buy training, and Jan handles that. So that's our business and industry services area. We also have workforce continuing education that goes along with that, so people need jobs. And I'll tell you what kind of jobs are in those. In that workforce continuing education, we've got the largest truck driving program in the state of North Carolina. We turn out about 225 CDL truckers each year. There is a huge demand. Well, we can't meet the demand doing 225, but we're doing more than everybody else. We're putting a dent in that. And those folks get jobs. Largest one in the state right now. Other programs that we're running, we've got the largest electrical line worker, entry-level line worker program. Those guys get jobs, and they go to learn, they want to learn how to work on energized lines, make a low six-figure income with little to no college debt. So great program for those. Many other programs. One of the things that we're most proud of is our apprenticeship programs. We've got about 12 trades that are registered right now. And so with all these participating employers, they will give these guys a job, and they're taking training with us, and then they get progressive pay scale increases, whether they're electricians or HVAC technicians or welders or machinists. So we've got a thriving apprenticeship program going right now. We started some new programs. We're spending some time getting those built. Got the largest electrical apprenticeship program in the state right now, and which is good because of the cooperation we have with the contractors in the area and our employers. And where do we get our students from? Our students are coming from New Hampshire and Pender counties, mostly. Last year, we had over 3,000 students coming from New Hampshire and Pender counties in the CCP program while they were in high school, taking classes here at Cape Fear Community College, which is phenomenal. And they're not all college transfer classes, and some of them are trade classes. They're taking electrical, they're taking machining, that sort of thing. So it's a phenomenal push in those areas. We also work with underemployed and unemployed people. That is, sometimes people want to retread from new occupations, and this is the place to come to. We work with people that are transitioning from the correctional system. We've got over 330 folks, and we are working with them to get them into training programs that will get them a job and get them employed with you guys. CFC is known for having one of the best nursing programs in the state for 6 years running. And it's about collaboration, working with you guys in small businesses and mid to large level employers to make sure that we put those people to work. Our employment rate is somewhere around 3.3 to 3.5%. So we cannot leave any stone unturned. We got to get everybody into the workforce, get them to work, and get them making money. So we hope you get what you need from this summit to expand, start your business, and you always know that we're here for you with resources that can help you do what you need to do best. We're your hometown community college. Welcome to Cape Fear.
Woo, all right, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Now, I was told that today was a great day for business. And do we have any Geminis in the building? Okay, it's a Gemini season. So my birthday is tomorrow, okay? So it's a wonderful day to be here. And I knew my birthday was tomorrow when you asked me last year to do this. And I said, you know, my birthday is Sunday. But I said, no, I would love to, because I can't think of a better way for me to celebrate another year coming into this world, right? Than to celebrate it doing exactly what I love. So I have a magic trick for you. You want to see it? Okay, Jenny, can I get you to come up here?
Oh, no.
Jenny is a whole magician on her own. Put her hand together for Jenny, because Jenny has some of the best marketing in the States. Jenny is one of the most enthusiastic, energetic, energizer bunny type people I've ever met. And for that, my magic trick is giving Jenny her flowers today. So Jenny, enjoy that. Because she definitely is the other person that makes this small business center run. One thing you will know about us, we love to start on time and we love to end on time, okay? So guess what time it is now? You see your agendas? It is time for you to put your hands together for our keynote speaker today, Benjamin Hall.
I'm not thinking at all. I would like to introduce. Let me just say, Jenny, she runs a small business. Let's just be honest about it. Thank you, Jenny. Very, very, very excited to welcome Benjamin Hall. We have this privilege to truly welcome a remarkable journalist, author of the book Saved, a War Reporter's Mission to Make It Home, a devoted husband and father. As a freelance journalist and war correspondent, Ben has written for the New York Times, the BBC, the Sunday Times, Times London, the Independent, Press Agency, Esquire magazine, and later as a veteran war correspondent for Fox News. Ben is acclaimed for his courageous and insightful reporting of some of the most dangerous and conflict-ridden areas around the world, including the Ukraine, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, Mogadishu, and most recently, Gaza. Ben's career as a war correspondent has been nothing short of heroic. Ben's experiences on the front lines have equipped him with a unique set of skills that translate exceptionally well into the world of entrepreneurship. The unpredictability and intensity of war zones require quick thinking, resilience, and the innate ability to adapt quickly to rapidly changing circumstances, qualities that are equally vital in the business world. As entrepreneurs, we face our own battles, market fluctuations, competitive pressures, and the constant need to innovate. Ben's ability to navigate complex environments, extract critical information under pressure, and communicate effectively are invaluable assets in any business context. This story is not just one of survival, but one of profound insights gained through extreme experiences, offering lessons of leadership, risk management, and relentless pursuit of goals against all odds. Today, Ben brings us not just stories from the front, but lessons on how the heart of entrepreneurship, much like journalism, is about effective planning, moving forward with a sense of urgency quickly, no matter the risk or the challenge ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Benjamin Hall.
Thank you very much. ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin by saying what a great pleasure it is to be here today and speaking with all of you. And I know some of you might be wondering why perhaps is a war correspondent talking to small business owners? Is this perhaps the right fit? Well, I would say honestly that yes, there are so many similarities in what I have done, both to build up my career, to find a way to get to stories, to find a way to meet people, that I think translates very well to what you guys are doing in setting up businesses. And as I will talk about in a minute, I abandoned into the Ukraine a couple of years ago. And I think more than anything, the story has to be, how do you pick yourself up when you've been knocked down? How do you get around barriers when they appear? Who do you rely on to do that? Those are qualities that we have to look for in every single form of life, wherever we are. And I've seen the people who are here today. I've spoken to some of you, and I know that that is in this room, and I know that that's in this community. And so, first of all, it's just an honor to be here today, and I'm really grateful for you having me here. I wanted to start off by taking you back to that very moment where my own life changed. That day in Ukraine, March the 14th, 2022, when my team was hit by Russian artillery. I've been a war correspondent for almost 20 years, and every time we go into conflict, in the same way that you might decide when you're setting up a business, how do you make that decision as to where to go, how to get there? Is the story worth it? Should we be doing this at this time? Well, that day in Ukraine, the Russian forces were surrounding the capital city of Kyiv. It was our decision that we needed to move out a little bit and record some of the devastation that the Russian artillery had seen. We were a small team at the time. When you're in some of these complex environments near the front line, you trim down as well. You have to know who is essential and who isn't essential. I know that would be the same in business as well. You can't have too many people on board. But you need to trust implicitly the people you're with. Teamwork, choosing who you're with, that is a key part of what you do. And so I was with a team that I knew very, very well. My cameraman, Pierre Zetchescu, who I'd worked with for at least 8 years at that point. And we'd been in caves together, we'd be in front lines together, we'd cross rivers together, we'd be behind enemy lines together, and I trusted him with my life. He was there. Our fixer, our local producer, Sasha, was there. She was a 24-year-old Ukrainian who wanted to help. She wanted to get the news out that day. She knew how important the story was. And the same is true with businesses. You have to know how important the story is. You need to get that story out. So that's what we were doing that day. So our team met up with the Ukrainian military, and there were 2 Ukrainian soldiers driving our small car. We went out into this town called Varenka. We were driving around, we filmed throughout the day, and we could hear Russian shelling in the background, but it was much further away than we heard in the past, and we'd been told that this village was cleared. We filmed for the day, and I remember thinking, what a great story we've told today. This is really going to go home, and I know our viewers will watch this, and it will help them learn more about what's happening today. And in my mind, I was already thinking about the video that we were going to use and how we were going to edit that piece together. There we were driving this small car, and we came up on this checkpoint, abandoned, with 3 concrete barriers in front of us. And as the car slowed down to the first one, we began to turn. This whistle that I sadly know very well, I've heard it around the world before, of a shell came right in over our heads. And 30 feet in front of us, the first explosion landed. Big blast in front of us. Quickly, Pierre shouted, reverse the car, reverse the car. And as the car went into reverse, the second shell landed right alongside us. That one put me into a place of absolute darkness, absolute black. And I wasn't knocked out, I was in this other place where I had, at that point, a lot of facial injuries. I'd taken some shrapnel to the eye, I'd taken a big piece of shrapnel right into my throat. But it was quiet. It was the most remarkable place. Perhaps that place as close to death as you can imagine. And all I could see in front of me, all that came up in front of me was my 7-year-old daughter, Honor. As real as she was right there in front of me. And she just said to me, right at me, all I could see, she said to me, Daddy, we've got to get out of the car. Got to get out of the car. And it brought me back, and the world came flooding back to me. I knew I was in pain, but I couldn't feel it. I grabbed the door Pierre had already managed to get out ahead of me. I opened the door, put one foot out, and then the third shell hit the car itself. It threw me away and it knocked me out. And that was the one that did gave me the rest of the injuries. So I woke up, I don't know how long later, maybe it was 10 to 20 seconds, maybe it was longer, but I was on fire. I was on fire, my right leg was gone, it was hanging off, my left foot was gone, and I'm bleeding a lot. And I'm rolling around on the floor and I'm trying to put it out, I'm trying to put the flames out. And at that moment, finally the flames are out and I'm sitting there and it's days. And that is one of the moments that I think is so essential. It was maybe that moment there where not only did I suffer, but I learned. I learned something so important that in each and every one of us, when we really need it, there is more strength than you know. More strength than you realize. So I called out to Pierre. Pierre, you okay? Where are you? And he was like 20 feet in front of me. He said, don't move, the Russians. I said, Pierre, I've got to go, I'm really injured, Pierre. I've got to find a way home. But we couldn't get the cell phone reception. We couldn't get in touch with anyone. I was trying to get my phone out, nothing at all. And I'm lying there for a while, I'm in and out of consciousness. And I was thinking just a few things. I was thinking, whatever it takes, I'm going home. I don't care what it's going to take. I'm going to find a way to do it. I am going to crawl. I'm going to pull myself, but I'm not giving up today. And again, when everything was taken away and I was right at death's door, I did another thing. I said a prayer. Very simple. I said, Lord, please take me home to my family. There's only one thing. Take me home. And I do think that when you have everything taken away from you, it reminds you of the most key things in life. And all of the things that we worry about in life, the little things that nag us, they disappear. And you remember what is so key and important is family, it's community. So I lay there for a while. It was about 40 minutes that I lay there. And the pain hadn't kicked in. It's a remarkable thing. I was looking at myself. I knew how new I was. But I couldn't feel it. The adrenaline was kicking so high. And out of nowhere, this one car drove past. And I was down a little dip, and I waved at it, and I shouted, and it didn't hit me. And it passed us. So again, I realized I'd got to crawl a bit further. So I pulled myself up, and I was pulling myself up. And that one car, the only car for miles, was a Ukrainian Special Forces car. And they had an engine problem about 10 minutes down the road. And that car had to stop, and it came back again. And there were so many things that happened that day, which really felt like I was blessed, that something happened to save me that day. By the time that car came back, I had pulled myself up further. I was higher up the hill, and I was ready, and I had a hand full of gravel and earth. And I threw it towards the car, and I screamed towards the car. And that man saw me. And he jumped out of the car, and he ran towards me, and he grabbed me by the back of my body armor, and he just started pulling me towards his car, running. And that was the moment. That moment where I was saved, that the pain kicked in. That one moment, and I felt it all coming back to me. But I was very, very close to death at that point. I bled an awful lot. I tried to sort of patch up my wounds, but I hadn't done much at all. And I was taken to this small little hospital, Ukrainian military hospital. And there they managed to save me that night. This one Ukrainian doctor who was patrolling around his little hospital with his AK-47, because the Russians were attacking as well at the time. So he was patching me up and trying to save my life, but also patrolling around the little hospital as well. And that was where my evacuation began. I had done what I had to do to stay alive. And I just thought every step of the way that I will keep going, and I will have to be as strong as I can, and let's figure a way out of this. Now, at the same time, Fox had heard that the team was missing. They didn't know where we were. But Jennifer Griffin, our Pentagon correspondent, was at the Pentagon. She was actually with John Kirby at the time, Admiral Kirby. She said to him, "We believe that the team has been hit. We're not sure where they are. But can you help? Can you help us find him?" And Admiral Kirby said, US policy says we can't go into Ukraine. We can't send a single US soldier in. But if you can get into Poland, if you can get him out of Ukraine, then the US military will be there to treat him, and he will be treated by military medicine. But you have to find him. You have to go get him. And so Jen Griffin called Sarah Harada, one of the most amazing women out there, who set up a group called Save Our Allies. And what they do is they went into Afghanistan when Afghanistan fell to the Taliban. These are veterans, and they were there just to help other people who really needed help. And they had a team in Poland, and they set off towards me to find me. I might sound English, but I'm American as well. I was born and raised an American, and then moved over to London. But there was a Medal of Honor winner, there was a Bronze Star winner, there were these incredible veterans who just set off to find one American who had been injured. That's what it meant to them. They drove right towards the Russian lines, day and night, with beaten up old ambulance to come and find me. One of the reasons was that one of them had lost his friend called Benjamin in Iraq, who had three daughters at home. And he saw a picture of me and my three daughters, and he said, "I'm not going to let another one go." And that bravery is something we all need to remember. Someone was in trouble, and they went out to try and do their best to save them. That is what makes America the greatest country on earth. And that's something you all have to remember. That when you need help, when things aren't going well, it's okay to look to people who know, look to people who can help you. You get through things better when you work as a team. So this team didn't know where I was, but they were just coming to find me. And they were speaking to Ukrainian intelligence, they were looking for license plate numbers, they were trying to find any intercom, found out where I might have been. Finally, they tracked me down. And I was in this small little hospital, and I remember the last words that Pierre had said to me before, when I saw the car passing me, Pierre had said, "It's the Russians, don't move, it's the Russians." And I said, "It doesn't matter, I've got to be saved right now, I've got to go." And so when I woke up in that hospital, I saw someone opposite me in another bed, and I assumed I was in Russia. And I again assumed, all right, now I'm going to get out of this one. So my leg's gone, my throat's gone, a shrapnel in the eye, and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to escape from this one. How do we do it? And I remember the guy opposite me, this other patient, the bed sheet's lifting, and I thought he had a gun pointed at me. So I'm in this little spy world. But again, I'm really thinking, whatever it takes, we're going to go home. Whatever it takes, we're going to go home. And it was at about that moment that Dr. Rich Jadet, Bronze Star winner, who was part of the team, he walked in the door. And he came up to me and he said, "Ben, found you. You're with us now, you're safe." And I said, "Yes, we're in Russia." So he sort of patted me on the head and said, "Don't worry, we'll find a way to get you out." But they couldn't get me out easily. And there's been a piece of shrapnel they couldn't remove from my throat, so they couldn't drive me out. The city was surrounded by Russian forces except for one little piece in the south. They couldn't fly me out because of the surface-to-air missile threat. But then again, thanks to some contacts they had with US intelligence, we found out that the Polish Prime Minister was on the first meeting to see Zelensky, President Zelensky. And his train was inside Kyiv, and he was leaving in an hour or so. And if we could break through this curfew, the Polish Prime Minister would evacuate me. And so they bundled me into this ambulance, beaten up all ambulance they'd driven. And we began this journey through the worst curfew they'd seen. Ukrainians thought that the Russians were coming in that night. And so we went from checkpoint to checkpoint in the middle of the night. Every checkpoint thought we were Russians. And they would open up the doors and they would open up all my wounds and take off and unwrap them all. They didn't think we were real. They thought we were trying to come in as a hit squad. And the guys driving the car, amazing guys. These guys were out at gunpoint every time and saying, "We've got an injured guy, you've got to let us through." You couldn't say where they were going because the intel was so secure. But finally, with minutes to spare, we made it to this train. They got out and were carrying me on this little sheet. But that was the point at which the painkillers started to run out. They hadn't had much to give me. They gave me some for those first initial operations. I'd only been there for about a day and a half since the attack. The pain meds were wearing off and I had none at all. I got me on this train. This began 10 hours where I had to lie on this train, again, patched up, barely alive, with no painkillers, and just had to figure out how to get through it. And that was another point where I had to go to a different place, where I had to think to myself, first of all, crying and whining and shouting isn't going to do anything right now. It's going to prevent the people who know what they're doing from doing what they do best, just saving me. And again, it was one of those moments when I had to pass it on to someone else. I knew what was best for me, and that's to stay quiet, to stay silent, and get through it. And every now and then, the pain would get worse and worse. And just at the point where I thought I couldn't handle it anymore, I would find another level inside myself. And I would tell myself, you've got to keep this one down. You can do this, and you can find a way through, and you will do it. And I can tell you again that inside all of us there is that level. I found it there as well. For 10 straight hours, I was there, and I managed to hold that in because I knew where we were going, and I knew if I could get to the other end of that train ride, then I was safe. Safe for a second time. But it was also on that train journey that I kept asking about the team. Where's the team with Pierre, with Sasha? How are they doing? And it was on that train ride that I was told that they'd all died, that I was the only survivor that day. And so, you know, you have to think about what position are you in at that point? Are you in a position where you've lost everything, or are you in a position where you've been given everything? Where you've been given this great gift? A lot of veterans at the moment, you know, what I've done since, I'll talk about this in a minute, to speak about veterans, people often go in two directions when something bad happens. You can say that you've been beaten and you've lost and don't know what to do, or you can say, no, now is when I have to find my strength. Now is when I pick myself up. Now is when I keep going. And you can do it. You keep moving. Don't stop. And you will find a way of doing it. And I know that's true for you guys too when you're setting up a business again. There will be tough times, but find a way through. Keep looking for that way through, and you will absolutely find it. But I finally made it through Poland. We got to that the train pulled over at this tiny train station, and they got me out, and they got a little ambulance, and they wheeled me to this field. And right there in front of me, there was a Black Hawk, the 82nd Airborne. USN, and jumped out in their uniform, and they ran towards me. And I remember that moment, again, where I was safe, and they picked me up and they said, we got it. We got it. What is amazing is that I was saved by an American, very injured, saved by American soldiers that day. But in World War II, and excuse me if I jump back for a little bit here, my father was actually born and raised in the Philippines. At the age of 8, the Japanese invaded. Most of his family, his mother, grandparents, aunt, uncle, were all killed by the Japanese, and my 8-year-old dad went to a Japanese prison and war camp. And he was there for 3 years, the ages of 8, and with his siblings, and they had to find a way to survive. And as General MacArthur came back in for the Battle of Manila, they were released from the camp back into the streets of Manila, and they were living like urchins in the streets. And the Japanese were starting to kill everyone. And someone said to Dad, if you want to survive, you've got to go find the Americans. They're coming in, go find the American soldiers. That's where you'll find safety. And my dad, 12, grabbed a whole lot of kids, and he worked his way through the city, the worst urban fighting of World War II, the Battle of Manila, horrible. And finally, he knew the direction they were. Finally, he reached this one street, and you could see the US troops at the other end of the street. As they set off running, the Japanese sniper kills the little boy next to him. Dad keeps running with the other kids. Him, his sister, his brother, and 2 other kids, they finally made it to the other end of that road. This American GI, I think it was the Ohio National Guard, picked my dad up in his arms and effectively said, we got it. We're safe. We got it. And there was I, decades later, being saved again around the world by an American soldier. And I just felt this incredible moment. All I could think of was my dad at that moment. My dad died just before I went to Ukraine, and I flew almost directly from my dad's funeral to Ukraine. And I know that my dad was there watching out for me during that attack, and that my dad was alongside me the whole way. My dad helped me get up to that helicopter. My dad moved to the US himself after the war, went to Stanford, then he went and served, and he enlisted in the US military, and went and served in Korea, because that's what it meant to him. And I grew up my whole life thinking nothing more than the amazing things that the US military does around the world, the lives they save, the good they do, the benefits that America gives. I grew up being the most proud American ever. And I will talk to you about my recovery in a little bit, because that's the most important part. How do you build back up when you feel everything has been taken away? I want to jump back first of all and talk about conflict and how I became a war correspondent. And partly it's because of my father, it's because of the stories we told growing up, it's because of what I knew from him and watching so many John Wayne films with him. I was fascinated by it, and that's what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to go and meet people. I wanted to experience the extremes of the human experience. I went to Duke, so I know North Carolina quite well. And when I graduated, first of all, I spent a year in Hollywood because I thought I might make film. It wasn't true. It took me a year to get out of here. This is not real at all. It's not real. I want to go and see real people. That's what's important. And that's true for business, by the way. You're helping people. I always wanted to tell stories of people. You know, I wanted to educate people, and I wanted to tell stories of people. And that's what it's about. It's about trying to build that up. It's about making communities better. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted the adventure as well, don't get me wrong. When I was young, I wanted to travel the world. And look, hey, I believe starting businesses about adventure as well. You've got to love it. You've got to want to go and do most of it. Enjoy it. You know it's going to be a ride. And boy, would be a war correspondent ride as well. So it's only a small business. Ups and downs, left and right. You've got to figure out a way of getting it. You've got to figure out a way of doing it. And I figured that out in my career as well. And I started off in Iraq. I took the first plane I could into Iraq. I didn't know where I was going, I didn't have any contacts. I decided I wanted to be a war correspondent. And I met a guy at the pub who said he wanted to be a war photographer. And I said, I'm going to go to Iraq next week, do you want to come? And the two of us went. But at the time, I thought it was crazy, it was adventure, but it wasn't. It was the beginning of a scene. It was the beginning of building something. We knew what we loved. We knew what we wanted to do. But we didn't know how to do it, but we knew we would figure out a way. We started in Iraq, we did a few trips to Iraq, we started embedding the troops. And then I remember you need to get closer to the front lines. That's what I wanted to do. I needed to see more. And I suppose being a freelancer at that time is really difficult. Again, it's like a small business. I'm writing articles every day. No one's buying them. I'm picking the phone up and I'm calling every newspaper, every radio station, every TV network. Someone wants my work. I'm doing these stories. Why does nobody want it? And so I suddenly learned that you have to find a different way. Okay, let's find a story no one else has told. Let's go somewhere no one else has told. Let's do it in a slightly different way. If I saw that someone had written an article that I was looking at, I'd do something different. And that's so similar to what you guys do. Always trying to find a different way. Always looking at what I can adapt. Use the things that I thought were good, but then change them, make them work for me, provide that service. But for us in war correspondence, it means getting closer to the front line. And I remember in Libya, we went off to the war in Libya, and there are hundreds of journalists in Benghazi, and no one would buy our stories, but we knew if we could get into Misrata, this town in total siege, then we know someone would buy our work there. So we went down to the port every day. I tried to barter with all these captains, no one would let us on. Finally, I found one captain, I bugged him for days, who admitted he said, you can come with us if you give me your sunglasses. So I remember bartering my Ray-Bans for a ride on this little fishing boat to cross 2 days across the Mediterranean to try and get to Misrata. Sure enough, we get on the boat, and within half an hour realize that it's not a fishing boat. They're carrying so many illegal weapons to get in. So we're on this illegal weapons ship. And we're bobbing around, and with about 15 rebel fighters as well, thinking, we're in it now. But that turned out to be a great story. But I remember we were bobbing around in the sea. We were getting close to Misrata, and middle of the night, and these spotlights open up on us from behind us. Huge spotlights, and it was a Royal Navy fighter, a destroyer that was patrolling the Mediterranean. And they get on the radio and they say, "What do you got?" To the captain. "What do you carry? Identify yourself. Identify yourself. What are you carrying?" And the captain doesn't speak much English. He's looking around, he's thinking. He goes, "We have food for the children," he says. And then he goes, "And we had journalists from America." Oh no! And he throws the radio into my hand. And the captain goes, "What do you got on board? What are you carrying?" It was one of these moments I felt like, what do I do? If I tell him we're on a shipment of illegal weapons, I'm not going to tell the story. But the real predicament is so I pick up the radio and I go, "We have food for the children." And so, excuse me if I was wrong that day, but we did have some food on board. We did have the first aid kit as well. And look, I'm sure that they knew what we were doing. They knew that these ships were breaking the blockade anyway, because they were supporting the rebels against Gaddafi. So I suspect they know, but as a young journalist, I didn't know any better, but they let us through it. We became a hero amongst the rebels on the boat. And we got into Misrata. It was that moment we landed where the shells were falling right there and then. And I was there for about 10 days, and it was, again, something that changed my life. We got up to the front, we saw a lot of people lose their lives, and we really had to decide that what we were doing was worth it. Is it worth it being here? What is the risk we are taking? Again, for businesses, it's not the same kind of risk, but how much risk do you want to take? How far are you going to chase your business? How much money are you going to put into it before you decide it's too much? And I was questioning that as we were huddled in a basement, and they got there, a couple of colleagues, Tim Hetherington and Chris Congress, were killed. Journalists who we'd been speaking to a week earlier. Is this the right thing to do? Well, I left 10 days later, almost broken, and I'd watched lives being taken. But I left there thinking that it was. Because we came out of there with stories that mattered. We came out of there telling things that people hadn't heard before. And I knew that it was right for me. And that was a decision I had to take then and there. I was with one journalist who went up to the front lines. He had a child recently back home in Belgium. We were at the front lines. With his first day, he said, "I'm going to go. I shouldn't be here. Just had a child. I'm going to have to cross that line. I'm not the same person anymore." So the choice was different for what we wanted to risk and what he wanted to risk. And I remember thinking about that at the time. But that was Libya. We went on to cover Syria. I'll be brief about Syria, but we couldn't get into Syria. The Assad forces controlled the border. But we knew if we could get in, we were going to tell a story no one else had told. So we crawled up one night with our little fixer. We had been in contact with the rebels on the other side. And we're lying there at 2 in the morning, we're on the barbed wire fence. And these Gaddafi forces come out of nowhere. They knew we were coming. And someone had obviously tipped them off. And they were 10 feet away as we huddled under these bushes, and they were searching for us up and down, up and down. Luckily, they didn't find us. There was some explosion in the background, they went away. So we're lying there, though, and out of nowhere come these 3 guys wearing nothing but red pants, tiny little underwear, and carrying guns. And we're thinking, this is probably not the right place to be. What are we doing here today? And they say, "Take off your clothes." So here we are on the border with Syria. We're standing there, we're naked. We're with these guys who are practically naked, carrying guns. They say, "Follow us." And sure enough, just about 10 minutes down the road, there is a river. And to get in the middle of the night, we've got to cross this river. So in we go, up to our necks in water, body armor and cameras above our head to try and get through. But we did. But again, I remember those thoughts just going, is this really the right decision? Are you really doing the right thing right now. But yes, we were with the rebels for the next couple of weeks. We were living in the caves, we were on side and they tried to hold back Assad forces. We were the first people to film Assad troops opening fire on proud civilians, women and children. It was a key moment for us, and I really felt at that point we told the story that really makes a difference. I know it was worth it. That is why we did it. So that's what we did. So the stories, they kept coming, the trips, they kept happening, but I wasn't making much money. I mean, you go in and get paid $200 for an article. I'm spending a lot more than that to get in there. And it wasn't happening. I had my first child, Honor, and I was saying to my wife, it was that moment that no small businesses have as well. I don't think I can keep doing this right now, because I don't think I can provide for my family. And I was starting to say, should I become a realtor? And I spoke to people perhaps. Should I change career? I know that I have to do this somehow. And instead I said to myself, no, I'm going to give myself another year. And I'm going to go and knock on every single door. I'm going to ring every single bell. I'm going to write different kinds of articles. And I did that. And I was in New York for a lot of that time. And I turned up at the studios. And I turned up with my videos. And I wrote a book on ISIS. And I basically did it to try and sell myself. And I kept finding ways to get on air, to get on the radio, to do things. And it worked. It worked. I put my mind to it and I didn't stop. And I kept knocking on doors. And I was called into Fox. And I thought I might be given a small little job somewhere. But I was called in, called up to the second floor where the bosses are. And they said, we've been watching you over the last year. We'd like to give you a job. We'd like to be our foreign correspondent. And, you know, that I felt so much pride in, because I knew I was about lost and I couldn't afford to do it. And I said I'm going to give it one more try and find a way to do it. And I did it. But I have colleagues, quite a few colleagues who are no longer journalists, and they go on to do other great things that they love doing as well. So look, in life you have to follow and give it your best. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but that's fine. Find something else. Never let the setbacks bother you. Keep going. Always find a way to keep going. And so I was in Fox for a while, and I've been there for 10 years and had the best career I could have hoped for. At the beginning, I was into 3 months. I was interviewing people on the street, I was interviewing some soldiers. You go to Fox and you start interviewing the presidents, and the generals, and the foreign ministers. And that was fascinating, because I've got to go meet a whole lot of people. And again, I think it's about meeting people. It's about telling your story. That helps you get further as well. You know, go into meetings, by the way, the same is true with me, and I know it'll be the same with you guys. Try and talk to everyone there. Everyone. Don't stop. You know, and some might go well, some might not go well. But if you keep talking to people, you'll find the thing. Keep getting numbers. You know, that's what you've got to keep doing. You mustn't stop. My wife had said I would stop being a war correspondent at some point. We had 3 children, and she said, that's it. No more, come on. And I said, all right, I agree with you. And I agreed to become a State Department correspondent, and I moved to DC, and I said, no more war, that's it. And I moved ahead. My children, my wife were going to join me at the end of the school year. And I was traveling with Blinken around the world. We had been in a meeting with Lavrov, where the US Foreign Minister and the Russian Foreign Minister sat down head to head right before the war to discuss whether they could hold it off. And I was sitting there thinking, this is geopolitics at its absolute best right here. And I hoped that it would somehow prevent the war, but it didn't. It didn't. And I was in Ukraine, I was in DC when the Russians invaded. And I knew I had to go back. You know, there's something that I love about what I do that I don't get anywhere else. And I don't know if you guys feel that in the business as you do, but I just love it so much. So I called my wife up and I said, we're coming to DC, we said no more war, but they've asked me to anchor a show out there. I won't go to the front lines, I'll stay back a bit. I said, my wife knows me well. And I'm sure, by the way, relationships are very true in small businesses as well. My wife and I are always talking about where we should go, what we should do. We have different opinions on so many of them. It's about sitting down and talking honestly between the two of us. Actually, my wife knew at that point. She said, I know you're going to do that. It's okay, but this time really be safe. Know where you're going. Don't go out behind enemy lines. And so that took me to Ukraine. And there I was. And, I told you what eventually happened in Ukraine. So what took me to Ukraine, that day, March 14th, was when we were hit. But the last part that I want to talk to you about is the recovery. And I think that is such a key point. I had been picked up by the Black Hawk in Poland, and I was flown to Landstuhl, Germany, where so many veterans have taken where they were injured in Afghanistan and Iraq. And every step of the way, I was surrounded by incredible people who just told me, we're here for you. We'll help you get through this. This isn't going to be easy. We'll do this together, step by step. And I knew that. And I knew that I was surrounded by people who would help. And I also knew that I needed to set goals for myself. I think this is really key, for you guys as well. Every day I had a goal. And then every week I had a goal. And then I had one goal at the end, which was to get home to my family. And every morning I woke up and I said the same thing. I said, I'm going to do more today than I did yesterday. If I walked 2 steps yesterday, I walked 3 steps today. And I didn't mind if it hurt. I was in Landstuhl, by the way, for 10 days, then I was flown to San Antonio, Texas, in Brookline Medical Center. There are 2 centers in the US that treat people injured like I'm injured. It's called polytrauma. The US military sadly know it very well. Burns, often eye loss, amputees, my left thumb was blown off. It's a whole body recovery. But then they set up these incredible centers, one at Walter Reed, one at Bamson, where they take everything together. If you want to look about teamwork and coming together, those are the guys who know how to do it. If anyone's going to inspire you, it's these people. And they were just the most incredible people. They were like family. They know how to encourage you at the right moment, but they know how to push you at the right moment. Because nothing's going to be easy. And I remember at first, I was in some days, the first 2 weeks, I was so drugged up at the time, doing the amputations properly, etc. But I remember coming out of that and thinking, this is the beginning of the journey. Right now, everything's been taken away, let's start building. In the same way that you would build a company, build a small business, what do we need? I knew that I needed to be able to walk first and foremost. I knew that I needed to be able to get my thoughts back. I had a traumatic brain injury, which makes it very hard for me to remember short-term memory. I still work on that today. I remember things from a long time ago. But actually, if I'm going to sit down and talk about the last week, I need to jot it all down. That's fine. I will figure out a way of preparing those for every meeting now. I used to be able to wing it in the past. I go to an interview and I do the interview and off we go. But I need to have it totally written down. Actually, I wish I'd done it before. Boy, does it make me more productive now. And I also remind myself that on the days where it felt too bad, too hard, I would tell the first person I saw. Because I learned, I was never taught people in the past. I mean, keep it inside, we'll get through it, we'll be fine. But that doesn't work when you're injured like I was injured. You have to really keep going. So I would tell the first person, today is really tough. I don't know how you keep going right now. And just saying those words, just admitting that it was hard, took so much of the pressure off. I never knew how much that could actually help. Talking to people is such a great thing to do. Many people don't do enough of it. So do that if you're having trouble. Don't keep it inside. Something isn't going well in the business, there's something happening. Talk to someone, because someone will have a solution. Someone. I've had problems with my skin graft all off my back, and was a problem. So I was basically skinless on my back for 2 months. I couldn't lie on my back. And just going from doctor to doctor to doctor. And no one quite could figure it out, having an allergic reaction to something. But I just remember thinking, if one doctor said no, I said, ask the next one. Come on, let's get to the next one. If you're not sure, find the next one. So I remember all of us driving, choosing how to get through the difficult problems. And something else which was key is that I found that every day I would stop and I would think of something that I just loved, I really enjoyed, something that made me happy. And then my family were amongst them. That was the biggest drive, but it could be a great piece of music. It could be a bird sitting on my hospital window, Small things just to get you out of the hard parts really help as well. So I would say that don't let the tough times drag you down so much. Realize that that's something you've got to sort out and know what you're going to get to, that's what you're going to build. But don't lose sight of the great things as well. It's about the positive things in life too, always. And so I just worked each and every day, and I pushed through the pain. And I said, I don't want to be on the painkillers anymore. So they'd take me off the painkillers. And the next day I'd say, I want to be on the painkillers. So they'd put me back on the painkillers. But that was, I had to figure out. And that was right for me. Well, I'm going to speak to my physios about other patients who don't have that violence. Some of them, they have these beds, and they would lift them up till they fell out. Because sometimes people need to be pushed. Now, I'm quite lucky, I don't need to be pushed, I'm happy to do it. But it's okay to push people too. It gives them a lift up. If someone's not doing well, go and tell them, let's get through this together. Let's do this together. It's so important to do things together. So it's okay if you don't find things really easy. It's okay if things are hard. Find a way through doing with people who can really help you. And I made it home. I made it home. And that was probably just the best day of my life. And I look back at the journey as I stand here today, I honestly think that I'm a better, stronger person. I wouldn't change it. I would not go back and wish it hadn't happened. I would change it all to bring back Pierre and Sash in a home. And they want to say lives and do something amazing, but not for me, because life is about ups and downs. And you become stronger when things don't go well. If you find a way through them, you become stronger. And all of us can do it. I know that. I'm living proof of that. So, I want to say thank you. I want to say keep doing what you're doing. You guys run America. Small businesses give back to community. They are so inspiring. And they're not easy. But you can always do it. Keep putting one foot in front of the net. And if you get knocked down, pick yourself up and don't stop. And enjoy it while you're doing it. Don't let the bad times hold you down. Find a way, find a person, don't stop. And you're in a room of people here who will help you. And so keep doing it. And I wanted to say thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. I honestly feel like I'm here because of the community. Everyone says, gosh, you're so brave. I don't feel that way, to be honest. I feel like lots of us got through it together. I wanted to open it up for the questions as well. So if people have any questions, I always find this a nice way to end talking. So go ahead, if anyone wants to ask anything about it. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I was reading your book last night, and I was taken by the story of you going into Misrata. And I was thinking to myself, what is it? I mean, what is it that drives you? There's something inside of you that motivates you to do these things and to go to these dangerous places. Can you? Yeah, it's a combination. We were always, and I know it sounds hectic, that we run in some places, we barter our way in, and that's the adventurous way of saying it. The truth is, we also sat down, first of all, we looked at every map we could, we tried to get all the intelligence we could. We had to weigh up the odds of what we were doing. We really had to plan. And we always had 3 or 4 ways of getting out of wherever we were going. We would try and find out who we were going to meet. And it's about, first of all, deciding whether the risk is enough. So that was one of them. The other is, once you've made that decision, and you've decided that the reason you're going is the right reason, that you really want to do it, then you have to put that fear to the side. Because if you hold on to that while you continue, it's going to hold you back. So feel that fear, acknowledge the risk, know it's going to be there. The worst thing is pretending there is no risk. No, acknowledge the risk, look at it, be open about it. But once you've thought about it, once you've found your path through, you've thought about other potential options, then I always found put it to the side. There were moments when we were in places like Aleppo, a terrible urban fighting, where you knew the stories at the end of the street, and there's a sniper watching you, take a shot. You know, do you want to run across the street or not? And but we'd always try and weigh up the options. every step of the way, and then you have to put that to the side and then run as fast as you can. But I think there's an ability to put your emotions to one side. I don't think everyone can do that, and I do think that's essential if you're going to cover conflict. It's essential if you're going to be a journalist. I'd say it's essential if you're running a business as well, because if you can let yourself get too carried away, then that's a problem as well. So you've got to balance your absolute love for it, but also the intellect behind it, and the reasons you're doing it. So I guess we always weighed up the decision when we were going into places. But once you've made that decision, don't doubt it. Go for it.
Children, you see so proud of them, can you say a little bit about them?
Yes, I mean, it's funny, in the first page of my book, I talk about seeing my daughter Anna, and I do think that that's everything that is the very core of me. It's everything I live for. It's the beginning. Now I have to explain to my other two daughters why it was only Anna I saw. The other book now talks about three. I know all three of them who were there, so I am happy to say, by the way, we haven't told me, but we are expecting a fourth baby. Just don't stop, bring it on, keep going. You have a good family. And you asked about legacy, and I suppose, I want to talk about children. So how do I want to educate them and direct them? I think it is finding balance. It's about letting them find their heart and what they love in life. Because what starting a small business is, you've got to love it, so go and do it. Balance with, find something you love, but also, have some common sense too. I think that's how I learned to be a parent. I would not want them running around war zones, but my parents didn't either. In fact, my mother didn't want me to do so. My father did. My father said, "What do you want to do? You've got to let him do it." My mother said, "That's terrible. He shouldn't be doing this. You can stop him from doing this." My father said, "That's what he loves." And that will always be a tale, whatever we do in life, finding that balance. So it's Dan, my wife, Alicia, I'm absolutely blessed to have an incredible wife. Can I just say that she went through as much as I did, and we decided not to bring my wife and the children to hospital with me. And half the people we spoke to said, "You've got to have them with you, it's best for your recovery, bring them to me with you so they can be by your bedside." And the other half of people said, "It's the worst thing for children. What are you going to do? Take them out of school, they can be with you?" And I said to my wife, "I don't need that. In fact, it's better for me to have something to work towards. So you stay at home, keep their life steady. I don't want them seeing all of this." When I had facial injuries, I didn't let them video FaceTime me, but that gave me something to drive for. Other people need their children by their side because that's what they need. So again, the solution to something isn't the same for everyone. It is different for everyone. We knew it worked for us. But it's working with people. So again, there's no one solution, but family. We're going to do it for family. We're going to do it for the next generation. I might add on a wider picture. We're living in a precarious situation right now. In a world that is increasingly taken over by autocrats and wars, and we are coming up to an election which could divide this country again. Help your community, understand your morals. The backbone of America is hard work, community service, helping each other. And focus on those few things. That's why this country is the best country ever. So I don't think you should be distracted by this. And that's how we raise our children, that's how we treat our colleagues as well.
And you're awesome.
Benjamin, of all the careers you could have chosen and surely been successful at what point did you decide you wanted to be a foreign journalist?
Oh, well, I mean, I think probably at the beginning, and I wanted to see. I'm fascinated by things I don't know, the places I haven't seen, or people I haven't met. That's what's amazing. Communities are great and they're important, but I always wanted to see, to be honest, I appreciate my own community far more now that I have traveled. And actually, we might take things for granted, but boy, you travel the world and you'll realize how amazing, how lucky we are. And I come back from trips and I say, I forgot what a great, amazing, encouraging, strong community we live in here. Most of the world does not have it. So that's been a great benefit of what I do. But when my parents sort of took me around the world, our holidays weren't sitting on beaches. We'd go to the Amazon or go to Egypt, or we'd hike through various strange countries. So I think it was built in me to travel. And so I think it was the one job I wanted to do, and I'm grateful I'm doing it. Yes.
What is one of the most unexpected challenges or changes from before to after?
You know, it's a really positive one. The thing that has amazed me most since I got home is how open and sharing people are with me. It's like I think people who I meet, who I don't know my injuries, they look at me and it makes them want to open up. I'm so amazed at how that's happened. And people come up to me all the time and want to share things that has happened to them. And I was not expecting it. You know, some people don't want to talk to you because they don't know what to say, but other people want to share more with you. So I guess it's just that people react differently to me now. And I wasn't certain how that would be, if it would be worrying that people would see me with a prosthetic on, but it hasn't. People have been so open to me, which I found really great. So it was looking for things that are positive, I suppose. I mean, I can tell you loads of things that are hard as well, you know, like moving around the house when your leg doesn't go on, those things as well. So there are tough times, there's no doubt about it. That was most surprising thing, how open people can be to me. And that's a great gift that can be given to me, so I really enjoy that. I will say, one more thing, which I forgot to say, is that one of the things I wanted to do, also I set myself goals, I wanted to get back to my family, the other to get back to work. And I knew early on I wanted to get back to Ukraine. And so in last November, that's what I did. I went back to Ukraine, and I got on the same train that I was evacuated on, and I lay down in the same similar cabin for 10 hours on the way in, and I thought, and I relived that whole journey, and I thought about everything I'd learned, and I lay there. And I got off the other end of that train inside Kyiv, and I took a step off the train, and I said, you can throw it all at me, and I'm coming back. I really wanted to show that they would throw everything at journalists, and I know the Russians targeted us, and they wanted to silence journalists. If we won't stop it, we'll keep reporting, we'll keep coming back. So that was another thing I really wanted to do. Went in to meet President Zelensky, and but that was another thing. So another goal was set yourself, keep going back, don't let things that hurt you stop you.
That's right.
I do have a question. Thank you so much, because I know, like everybody else, this has been an emotional roller coaster, because I felt the tears welling up in my eyes. I felt my own story, and I was about to break. But I wanted to speak to you from a perspective of your wife, as the caretaker, and how can you speak to us when someone is going through what you've gone through to help that person that's taking care of the individual that has been hurt?
Yeah, no, caregivers, I speak to so many of them now as well, with wounded veterans and everyone else, and they never get the credit they deserve. They're the ones who do so much work. Something else that's very difficult is the things around the house I can't do now, that my wife has to do. You know, small things, I've been able to climb up ladders or do things I can't do, and I'm having to see my wife do other things that I used to do. That hurts me. Our house was broken into 2 weeks ago, middle of the night. Our dog started barking. My wife, and this is one of the worst points, my wife had to go downstairs, she's pregnant, and scream at them to get away, because I couldn't, because I'm trying to get my legs on. That was a low point for me. Everything I had done in the past as a husband, as a father, I couldn't do. She had to do that. But you know what I do instead is, I have said to her, I can't do these things, but I'm going to do those things you used to do, and those things, and those things. So I find things that she did. So it's about sharing, it's about letting her, about being honest with her, and working as hard as I can so the burden's not on her. You know, allowing her some time, she never takes it, to go and do something for herself. But you're right, caregivers, they never get enough credit. And I wouldn't be here today again if it wasn't for my wife and what she did. So yeah, they're essentials. Work together, be open, be honest, talk. If things aren't going well, talk. You know, if things be difficult for my wife, I just always say, what can I do? Let me help. Let me do that. What can I do? It's just about sharing.
All right, so that's what time it is, guys. It is time to give a round of applause for Benjamin Hall. Overhead, clap, everything you can do. This is an inspiring story today. We truly hope that this is good to be personal and to activity. And Benjamin is going to be making his way to the back because guess what you guys get today? A signed copy of his book, just for coming out. So he's going to be signing those copies. And what we're going to do is adjust the schedule approximately 5 minutes because we're going to set up for our next presenter that will be here. This should give you guys enough time, some of you, to go back there and file that single file line so that this way you can get a copy of the book. If you are trying to get access to the internet, there is a discrepancy on the back. You don't even have to worry about that. There's a guest internet, so this way you can just log right on in, and that is complimentary as well. There are restrooms back out that way, so feel free to go to the restrooms, wash your hands, all of that good stuff. And then make sure that you come back in 5 minutes because we're going to have our next presentation. Thank you, guys.
I'm going to get my signed copy, but I have to come in here and get to it with the man that does it. All the So I guess I was being wrong, like the last 2 years or whatever, because I had no idea.
Maybe I'll test.
But I'll take care. I'm not going to try to figure it out. Frank, can you just do this? I'm cheating. Ask me to open these or do that. This is fine.
Yeah. So I think I just skipped over the yeah. I just popped it on.
I'm just trying to look
I think that's all right.
yeah, but if it has as long as it's fast forward.
Really?
I think he did.
Yeah, I changed it. So, it's just. Just make sure. Nah, no worries, no worries. I'm ready to just flag me 10 minutes before the time is ready.
No, it's fine. I'll do like a 10 and a 5. And let me take another picture of this room. That's how I'll be back. And let me get this microphone so I can do it. I'm talking from the back. Perfect.
I think we're gonna take that mic down. Yeah.
you need anything else up there, you good?
Yeah, I think I'll do it. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, we are going to be wrapping up and getting into our next presentation by Frank Del Villar. And he is going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects right now, which is AI for the small biz owner. Now, this is the thing. I know it's a bunch of people in line to get books. He's not going anywhere. So, if you want to stay in line and stay quiet while Frank is doing his presentation, that's fine. If you are at an exhibitor table right now and you're still trying to have a conversation here, we'd like you to bring it down to a 0 so that this way Frank can have all of the wonderful quiet of being able to present his presentation. So if we need everybody to take the volume down, we're going to turn our music down. All right, everybody, can we get everybody back into our seats? And can we get our exhibitors, if you want to come up or you want to stay at your exhibitor tables? We just want to get everybody to bring it down to a 0. If you can hear me, can you clap once? If you can hear me, can you clap twice? If that means you heard me both of those times, can we get you to bring it down to a 0? Thank you so much. All right, now, without further ado, I know a lot of you want to know more about AI. I'm not sure how many of you are using it on a regular basis, but I promise you what's going to be in this presentation is something that will help you save time and money. And remember, we told you we're about mental health today. So put your hands together for Frank Delmere.
All right. And I'm looking for white that autograph. Too. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Again, my name is Frank Delmere. I'm not going to be as inspiring or terrifying as Benjamin was, but maybe I will on AI. So, whoever and anybody can hear me, basically, what I do is I work with Carolina Community Impacts. We are a CDFI in North Carolina. As a small business owner, if you don't know what a CDFI is, we're basically a lender with a mission. So in comparison to your big banks and your institutions, we want to work with you, we want to understand the situation. We got a lot of stuff. And we have an awesome table. If you do have questions about financing, just come to us here. But the focus today is AI. So again, just a show of hands, who here has used AI? All right, good. And we'll see that more and more, everybody's going to be using AI. So my main point today is to try to take away some of the fears around AI, to maybe bring some inspiration about all the things that you can achieve now with AI, especially as a small business owner. I really want to thank Jerry and Ginny. They are amazing here. And I want to thank you all for coming, because as small business owners, coming to events like this and participating and knowing who's in your community really gives you a leg up. So congratulations to you all for being here. Now, AI, what the heck is going on with AI? So we heard this madness all of a sudden, and the big thing that's coming out is about large language models, where now you have all your ChatGPTs, you have your Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, you have Claude 3, Meta and Facebook with a Llama 3 model. And these are only a few models, but you have now thousands of models out there, not only from the big players, independent people. Everybody's coming up with AI models. And what are they? What is this big thing? What are they about? How do they work? I'm going to try to simplify it for you as much as I can. So basically, it is a super smart computer. Right now, we have access to super intelligence as people. Basically, these models, they read a bunch of data, whether it's books, online content, data they feed it, data they provide it, and it memorizes that. And with that, it's able to make correlations. It's able to say, okay, you want to talk about a dog in a house, it's going to search the data that it has about dogs and houses. It's going to start making associations to be able to have conversations with you. So now, it's basically using human language to interact with the software, to interact with the program. And the program responds back with the same human language. It can also, the biggest thing to come out that surprised small business owners is that you can generate content with it. You can generate blog posts, you can generate a letter, you can generate emails, you can generate all the stuff now with these models. But also, they can help with tasks. So they can do analysis for you. They can do coding for you. They can answer questions. They can translate material that you have from one language to the next. You can feed it documents. They can summarize a bunch of stuff for you. So these models, they're only going to get more and more smart, more and more powerful. The abilities that we're going to talk about, the current landscape of abilities for these models, and how you can use it specifically for small businesses. So it's going to be an overview, and then we have awesome speakers that will talk, for example, how to use it for marketing, or how to use it for legal, how to use it for all these different aspects. So the point is, you use it for everything. All right. Now, what is the evolution of what has happened? For these models, at first you had the not yes, you can have chat and conversations. So when you use the model and you go to the website, it's not that complicated. It's just chatting with, what seems to be another person. But then, as it expanded, you're also able to upload documents, and it can read and understand the documents, and you can do data analysis. So if you're not an Excel spreadsheet nerd like I am, then you can do all that job for you. But also, when coding, now this is a big thing that should I even go to college to study coding when now AI is fully capable of writing code, fixing code, creating applications, guiding you through it, teach you coding and all this stuff. So that's another feature of that. But then we have the ability to create custom chatbots. You give this word everywhere now. Create a chatbot, do a chatbot for this, a chatbot for that. Now, different models allow you to do it differently, but this is one of the biggest leverage that I'll make a point on how to use it for business. But then you also have speech to text. So now I can take my phone and I can talk to the AI. I have a program with it, I talk to it, it understands my voice, but also I could also take it on text and it'll translate that into a voice itself. So if I have a chatbot for my business, it's able to speak based on the text that I provided about my business, my products, all that good stuff. Another thing, text and audio generation. We're going to talk about how fun that is, because now you can actually describe a song, and there are models that will create that song. So we're living in a time that it's limitless of what you do with it. The fun text and image generation, I'm sure hopefully a lot of you have heard of it. You put a sentence and it comes into life, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're visualizing. So again, the time is limitless now as to what you can visualize, what you can create, what you can accomplish. And then, hey, now you can also feed it images. It'll understand that image. You can feed it a video now, and it'll understand what's happening in the video. So now you're gonna start to see how all these pieces are coming together. And then the fun stuff, the grants, what's gonna happen with Hollywood, what's gonna happen with video, producers, when you can type a sentence and now you get a video saying, display that sentence. You can make a movie maybe, or a commercial for your small business, or a product demonstration, So again, there are so many more aspects to models, but when it comes to these different aspects, they're already out there available for us to use as small business owners. But let's take it further. So just to give you examples of all these features, just so you can visualize them. This one is, again, your standard chat window. I am using ChatGPT 4.0, and the 4.0 is a model that is free, available to anyone, and it is their latest model. One of the more powerful ones out there. But, we can get a lot of debates on which model is better or not. They have different intricacies and different things that they do. But honestly, that's ChatGPT. I asked it a prompt. So in terms of a key term, a prompt is just a question that you're asking. It's just the way you put out there. So I asked it, how do I start my home cleaning business in Wilmington, North Carolina? And again, don't feel limited by not knowing what to ask it. Ask it anything. I'll go over tips on how to improve the questions you ask, but start anywhere. But with that, I get this fancy response. I get market research first. It says research the demand for cleaning services in Wilmington. If you ask me how do I do that, ask me, how do I research the demand for cleaning services in Wilmington? And I'll give you the whole spiel of that. So you'll find that the biggest challenge now, how do you organize if you get 10 pages of information in 10 minutes? How do you organize your life? How do you organize your notes? How do you implement the tips and the knowledge that you get? So that's going to be one of the big things. But, that's Gemini. I get another chat window, Claude, a chat window. They know me by name. It's kind of scary. All right. So another thing about AI is that no matter what, I think we all have emotions about it, but we're going to see it everywhere. So for Windows, the actual operating system, they're going to have an AI copilot in it. Google Workspace, all your Google applications, Docs, Gmail, all that stuff is gonna be integrated with AI. Apple, they're gonna come in soon and announce how AI is gonna be integrated. So, Siri, yeah, it's gonna be intense. We'll see. But yeah, so in a way, we have to embrace it that's here to stay. And honestly, it's how can you leverage this specifically for a small business? Because knowing that you can do anything and everything, it is about zeroing in on problems that you want to solve, goals that you have, and stay focused on those so that, you can really, again, you can spend your time asking questions, but as a small business owner, how can it actually be productive? How can it be very, all right, it's fun stuff. Text to image as a small business owner. Now, these are some of the tools, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, Microsoft Designer, Adobe Firefly. Any application that does graphic design now has the ability to generate images from text. So if it's a t-shirt you're designing, if it's a business card, if it's logos, if you want to get an idea for how your website can look, you can simply ask, hey, here's my website, here's my colors, give me an idea. And then from there, you can go ahead and design it. So again, we are living in a time where the options are limited when it comes to what you can create. That's going to be my big point. And the other fun feature we talked about is that it can analyze images. So in the future, as a small business owner, you start to think, okay, maybe I'm at a restaurant, I want to look at take a picture of the menu, feed it to the AI, and get ideas from there, or maybe ingredient lists, whatever it is. You can take a picture if you're out in the field, if you're a landscaper, or a plumber, or a mechanic, whatever business. Take a picture of what you're looking at, and you can access information on how to fix stuff, repairs, manuals, any information on that. But the biggest thing that's going to happen is that now you have applications that can look at the screen that you're working on. So imagine now you're working on a project, and now you have an AI talking to you, looking at your screen, giving you advice on what to do next. Or if you have a question and stuff, the AI is looking at your screen and you can answer all that. So we're going to start to see again more and more capabilities like that, and they're only going to get smarter and smarter. Now, fun text to voice. If you are a small business owner and you have a chatbot in your website or in your mobile app, now you can have that, your customer can have a conversation because that chatbot is generating the voice, it's generating it based on your process manual, product, all that stuff. So you can do it that way. Text to music. Why not create a background music for your commercial, for your marketing videos? Maybe you have a YouTube channel, you want to design music for that. You can do a text to music now. Text to video, like we talked about, it's great, next frontier. You can engage promotional videos based on the content. So again, it's huge stuff that's happening, a lot of great stuff. Big moment of creativity for everybody. All right, there's fancy charts and data. Why not? Some models have a capability that you no longer have to hire a full analyst. If you have, no matter the data, you can feed it and it can do charts, you can do analysis, this whole fancy complicated stuff about data analysis that it'll clean your data, it'll summarize key attributes, identify patterns in your data. If you're looking at market data, if you're looking at your own data, it's just the ability now to really, really leverage so much information out there and come up with analysis and come up with decisions based on that. So none of us should feel limited or intimidated by data or whatever we want to analyze, because now these models are able to do it for us. And that's why, we'll talk about it in the end, because it is true that this can replace a lot of jobs. A lot of folks that used to do this and grind and charts and all that, and it's true. Somebody now can do it with this. All right. And the aspect of chatbots, the big thing with chatbots is that you can customize them so much for your small business. And I do that personally for my job and for projects that I have. If it's my job, I feed it a document with all the information about my company, my procedures, my products. I can feed it more information about the industry or the market. But now, turn it up yet. Let me see. All right, is that better now? All right, there you go. So basically, yeah, with the chatbots, the ability to really create all kinds of chatbots, As you can see here, this is in ChatGPT, they already have thousands and thousands of ones. So, for example, one that can generate images for you better. If anybody uses that tool, Canva, to do graphic designs, you get basically in one chatbot, you can work through it with the chatbot and use the tool. So, meaning one of the first things that you can think of, even if not for your customers, but for yourself internally, you can have a chatbot designed with your business stuff and for any problem in your business, for any goals that you have, for any strategic planning, and you can really just use that chatbot and it'll help you a bunch. So chatbots, we can research different ways to create chatbots. I can do a whole class on that, but they're making it easier and easier. That you simply describe with a sentence what the chatbot may want it to do, and you're able to train it. So, just be on the lookout for chatbots. But now, so those are just some of the features, but what is the evolution next? What's happening now? Now that you see that all these capabilities exist for AI models, the thing is now, the fancy, the multi-model agents. So these little things are called modalities, Now imagine one single model that combines all those capabilities together, and that could be an image of what the future can be. That these tools are going to be so capable for every situation that you need it for, that it's going to make a material difference in your life and your business. But that's not all. You have your multi-model agents that can do things. Now, stepping a little bit into the future, now is the aspect of multi-agent teams. So not only do you have a model that's capable of doing different things, but for example, say you want an entire marketing team for your small business, customer engagement team, a team of AI chatbots that work together to achieve an outcome or to solve a problem. So now, for example, say you have a chatbot that's going to be your marketing campaign specialist, that's going to design the marketing campaign. Then you have your chatbot that's the content creator and understands that marketing campaign and is going to generate marketing content. Maybe you train it on language or literature or whatever you want. Then you have your social media manager, and that one automatically is able to do the postings, is able to manage the comments and the responses. Then you have your customer insights analysis that is actually reading through the comments, and because they understand natural language, they can even tell the sentiment of your customers. They can tell the customer sounded angry or the customer sounded happy. And so again, so much is capable now. And then ultimately, your reputation might. So, all right. So basically, it's a hassle trying to navigate through online reviews, manage your brand online. So now imagine you have a team of super intelligent chatbots running that process for you. Now, it could be intimidating if you want to defer everything out to AI and models, but the capability is there. So we're going to talk about how to still mix in a little human aspect into it, because we don't want to do that. But it's a big point to me, and you don't need to code, you don't need to create agents or nothing fancy, but it is true that with these models, you can now have an executive management function. Like you have a chatbot where you do your strategy planning, you can do your brainstorming, decision making, and it's true. Any questions you want to ask, anything about your ideas, how to do things, how to accomplish things, it'll guide you. So for the function of management, it's a huge thing to make better decisions. If you want to do it for your marketing, for your business, that's where again you can generate the content within your marketing. And you can generate images and generate blog posts and headlines and all this fancy stuff. You can ask, hey, give me something that will be viral, and it'll try it. So financial management, again, I'm a lender for small business loans. This is where I'm going to insist that you do your projections. And you do, even for accounting, if you have no clue what to do with accounting, it has knowledge that CPAs have in terms of rules, in terms of, even for taxes. You can feed it a document about tax regulations, and then it can answer questions for you about that. So when it comes to projections, ask it, give me 12 months of projections for my small business based on this, and that. So now, when you come to a lender, when you come see financing, or when you want to make plans for your business, you have, again, a super intelligent guidance that can help you work through all those problems. So again, it's a great time to be a small business owner. Now for operations and logistics, something that can get really complicated, really, here's where I insist now on process automation. I think we all hear it out there. But the thing is that now there are tools specifically that use AI to make that process automation easier for you to do. So meaning you don't need, again, fancy coding or fancy how to, you really now can do process automation very easily. So for your business, create a list of processes that you have, see which ones you can automate, see which ones you don't. So, and with JD and Derek, I do teach classes on how to do all of this stuff. So we spend a lot of time doing each, but just know that it's possible. And again, you just ask the questions to the model. So IT and data analytics. Fortunately, a lot of us are not tech savvy. If we have a software issue or we want to know how to do something, or we have a question about our hardware or our printer, whatever it is, if you're a new IT person, you can ask that IT person. If you wanted to teach you about a specific program or something that you're working on, it'll do that for you. Coding, this is huge. I have no clue how to code, but I have developed applications now because it takes me step by step. It gives me the actual code that I have to use. So again, possibilities are limitless. That's the way you want to do. And we talked about the analysis and all that you do there. Now, in fact, last on this one, human resources. And yeah, we have somebody to talk about legal compliance and how I can help there. So again, every function in the business. But for recruiting, for training, onboarding, documenting your processes and your procedures and all that stuff, thankfully we have AI. So what would take you a whole week to draft, now you can do it in 10 minutes. So again, when it comes to small businesses, you can do anything there. But specifically, and this one has a lot of text, but this one does show you don't have to really code or create these chatbots. You can use a sentence and give them an instruction, and they will serve those different functions for you. And this is one of the biggest leverage things that you can do, is that the model understands a lot. If you tell it, I want you to assume a role for this conversation, the chatbot will take that instruction, and for the rest of that conversation, we'll basically zero in on that aspect. So for executive management, if you're working on your strategy, this one, you tell it, act as a business consultant. You can tell it, with 30 years of experience if you want. And then help me develop a strategic plan for the next year to grow my small business. And then and I'll tell you what structure to make better prompts, but essentially this, you're telling all you want to see. You want to tell all your outcomes. So you want your market trends, competitive analysis, potentially revenue streams, what is the current business, and then you provide your business details. For marketing, customer engagement, act as a marketing strategist or as a marketing director, and then create a personalized email marketing campaign for my small business that targets customers based on their past purchase behavior. Here are the details. And we will see that this is structured in a certain way, and I'll tell you the specific structure that you can use. But again, it doesn't hurt to ask it any question you want, and then go from there with that conversation. Financial management. Again, be an analyst, help me forecast the next quarter's revenue, help me predict on 12 months, help me understand my P&L for last year, all those questions you can ask. Operations logistics, be my operations manager, analyze our current inventory, and suggest ways to optimize our supply chain to reduce costs and improve efficiency. So the model in all this training is gonna make associations of what is, how to reduce costs, how to improve efficiency. It's gonna help you out with that. So again, these are prompts. These are questions that you can ask to the model. And these are only a few examples, because for each aspect, I'll try to think of this at the end. So for each aspect of your business, there are specific prompts that you can ask, and then you get good responses. So again, the structure that you can use, and there are so many out there, there's so many ways to build actual prompts, but this one is called the Atlas Array Framework. It was suggested by ChatGPT, this one. And then basically, the focus, it has 4 parts. So the models work really well when you give them an instruction. You give them a specific task that you want the AI to perform. So here's, I want this, I want that.
The context is as much background information as you can provide it to help along with the task. So everything about your business, where you live, your target customers, your products, as much of background information as you can give it for that question, the better. That input data, again, yeah, if you're trying to do projections based on last year, you feed it that data with that question. Or if you're asking a question about a document, you feed the document with that question, and it's going to be able to respond there. And then the output, you can tell it, and it's really fun, you can tell it how you want the response. If you want it in a table format, it'll give it to you in a table format. If you want it bullet points with headlines and sub-headlines and all that good stuff, it'll create that for you. If you want it to respond in the style of Shakespeare, and a sonnet, or whatever, you can do that too, you know? Or Tony Robbins, if you want to be inspired or something, you know? You can do all that. So because it knows the way that other folks communicate, because it has read all of them, that it can respond and emulates other folks too. So that's really fun. Now, on this side, these two are out of order, but hey, no biggie. I didn't help me with those slides. But basically, for example, this is for a small business owner where maybe you do start with the instruction and you tell it, hey, give me a simple steps to start a home bakery business in Wilmington, North Carolina. So that's your instruction. And you can be even more precise. You can be like, hey, explain it to me like a 5-year-old, or explain it to me like a high schooler. What are the steps? And then for the context, you want to tell it, I have never started a business before, so it knows your level of acumen when it comes to business. And then you say, the bakery will focus on organic, locally sourced ingredients. So the AI is already looking through all this knowledge and is going to focus in on what's organic and locally sourced. Is going to, within its database, is going to look for things that are here locally. So that's why instructions matter so much. That's why almost each word that you input into the has an effect on how it will respond to you. With that, my really fun thing is that you can tell, okay, my startup budget is $5,000, and my goal is to have 100,000 in sales by year 2. So with those very 2 specific goals and data points, it's going to be able to calculate. It's going to tell you, okay, so for the first 3 months, you got to do this. The next 3 months, you got to do that. For the first year, you got to accomplish this to make that goal by year 2. So you are truly going to get a really good analysis of steps that you got to take, the more precise the information you feed. But then, you know, when it comes to the way I want it, is I write the steps in simple bullet points that are easy to understand. So again, the instruction, the context, any data that is helpful for the model, and then ultimately however you want the information to happen. And, you know, the good thing, again, if you're not versatile with Excel or things like that, you can tell the model to give it to you in a file or in a table that you can copy paste into Excel. So it's very flexible in how you can get your data and your responses. All right, but I did want to take some time and let's talk about some of the warnings with AI, because I think I tried to at least summarize the capabilities and the things you can do. Obviously, there's so many questions and so many problems and so many angles that you can solve and work with AI. But here are some of the things that I do personally see where I've come to terms with the fact that it is true that AI can replace a lot of jobs. Essentially anything, and I was talking to somebody, anything that can be done on a computer, there's a high chance that an AI can also work on that too. Now, what I see is not as much of a threat. One, I was going to start with this quote even to say that the one constant in life is change. Yeah. So basically, it is a big changing moment for the economy. We have to see how it shakes out, because if everybody loses their job, no company is going to sell anything anyway. But when it comes to jobs and AI, my big point is that it opens up so many opportunities for entrepreneurs. The now really is that you can tap into your potential. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever value you can provide to another human being, now you can tap into that because you have all the information in the world available to you to make that happen. So I see it, I'm more positive on that than not. Now, cherishing the value of human capital. With AI,
there is something, it's very smart. It can have access to so much information, so much knowledge. But there is something to the human intuition. There is something to human emotions. Whoever wants to believe that we have a soul, maybe AI will never have that. But in essence, I want to emphasize that maybe it'll become more important to have that human contact, to have that be able to relate to other people. Even then, as a human, you can learn so much with AI, but can't forget the joy of maybe reading the whole book instead of getting summarized by AI, or doing the actual work to think through problems and think through situations. It's really easy to defer everything to this, but we don't want to lose that. But ultimately, one of the big reasons why I'm here and that I do my classes on AI for small business is that really, large corporations, all these big players, they're really, really going to maximize the AI for all the stuff that they're doing. So my goal is to empower small businesses to at least have the same access to the same tools. To know that you can also solve problems, complicated issues, just like the big players do, but with the tools that you have. So honestly, my big thing there is that you all small businesses also have the same tools, also have the same knowledge, even if they got the fancy stuff there. So the more we can, band together and work with the economy and work on our businesses, we still compete. It's stay above. So one thing that I'll warn too is that because you can produce books, articles, images, you can produce so many at a time. I do think that the value of content may become a little bit diluted. If I have 10 books that are telling me how to run a business, so as a small business owner, no matter how much content is out there, just focus on providing that value, what's unique to you, what can you bring to the table. And we all have value to provide to others, so just focus on that. And ultimately, AI can enhance your ability to provide that value. So my point is ultimately to use AI as a tool, because AI, it's seen as a hammer, see as a tool. It's not like you are creating your own person as AI, and that person is going to do all your job and all your stuff. It's a tool. So just use it to enhance your work. All of us right now, even if we don't have a small business, for the work that we do, we can find ways to use the AI to enhance our work. So even if it's just that, if it makes life easier, if I can hang by the pool, half a day while I do work, if it's not half a day, I'll take it. But yeah, it is a tool. And ultimately, in this image, we are going to the future where we're going to have the Jetsons, robot cleaner, walking around the house, looking with a vision and talking to us and all this stuff with the AI. Hopefully it doesn't get to that first one with the robots or something taking over. And we have that picture, there's that movie Her that recently came out that the models are getting so good at the voice and sounding natural that I don't know, maybe some people prefer to have AI competitors. You may not. I think it's already out there. but ultimately, can it replace us? Can it think for us? I will say, you can defer your thinking to the AI if you want. You can. It can help you think this stuff. It can make it really easy for you. But again, I don't think it'll ever replace a lot of things that make us human. You're gonna have fun with it, enjoy it. But can it think for us? Yes. But I think, and I'll be able to take questions. The ultimate message and thought that I have, it is cheesy, but hey, more than ever, success in business and in life is about the questions, yes. So that's true. There's no way around it. My encouragement to you is to not be afraid of it, play with it, start to use it, and just understand all the capabilities around it for your small business so that you really have no barriers to achieve what you want to achieve. I think at this day and time, it's only shorten it up a little bit. But if you guys do want to reach out, again, I'm going to be at that table there for access to capital. If you want to have questions about small business loans. Essentially, I also do help with teach classes and courses on AI. I also help individual small businesses on how to implement the AI. We do a quick assessment to see what you need, what you need not. My email there.
Ultimately, yeah, I think I did want to leave enough time for questions because there's so much to talk about with AI. It's a really fun topic. And how much time do we have? 5 minutes only?
You technically have 10 minutes, but you know.
Yeah.
So I have to say that because then people start running rampant with questions. So ask questions really quickly and he's gonna answer really quickly. So we got 1, we got 2, okay, we got 3. Okay, let's take those 3. I think we can get it done in the time frame.
All right, we'll start.
So you said with the, you have to see if this information is going to get something back so we can analyze it. What if that information is proprietary or private information? Does it stay private? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think each model is going to handle security differently. Some say that whatever you upload, they're not going to train the model with that, or they're going to keep it just for you. But absolutely, there are differences between the models on handling that. And there are business services and business subscriptions that are more secure for keeping that data. But I would say if you're using any online chatbot, you would assume that some information may be used to train the model, at least just for caution. But just look into for each individual model what the policies are for that. Because it is a risk. It is a risk. And there are ways to have a model only installed in your computer and not connected to the internet, so that model will be the one helping you out and handling the documents. So for a small business, you can have something local, or you can have something secure in a very private cloud space. That makes it good.
2, right?
So AI dummy, never used it. If I ask a personal question on my business, will it automatically pull from things that I have like been on, or do I have to upload documents, third-party sites I've been working on, insurance and things like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And in essence, if you start a chat, essentially that chat, if you go through it, it's like 10 pages long, that model's gonna remember all of that conversation you had. So whatever you've given into it, whatever about your business, whatever if you upload a document today, maybe tomorrow you have to re-upload it to remind them about it. But so there are ways to keep it in one chat, but I do encourage that if you can't create your own chatbot or have your own design, you do try to upload as many documents from different places. And it could be PDFs, it could be Word documents, text files, CSV files, it could be a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I would recommend that, the more documents you upload it, essentially you're training it more and more to understand you and so.
Is that free? Is all free?
There are free ones, a lot of these are multi-subscriptions for the more capable features. So like to do a data analysis and all that fancy stuff, you have to pay.
Gentleman back there?
Slides be available, how do we get it?
Yeah, I think you can make it available. Ginny, I'll talk to her, Ginny, maybe that slide's available for everyone, maybe. Or, the best choice maybe, if you want to email me, then I'll for sure send you the slides. But if not, I'll talk to Ginny to make sure we can send them out. But that's probably the best choice if you want to.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions. Speak now,
Oh,
Yes.
Some people think that AI could be the downfall of human creativity. What is your point on that?
Well, to be honest, the data right now is that by using AI, workers can be almost 40% more efficient or 50% more efficient. So if I'm doing my work in half of the time now, what does that mean for the company? What does that mean for the economy? What does that mean for us humans? So I think it is to be seen still how much freedom it gives us, because it frees up time. And if a bunch of AI are doing the work that we used to do, what do we do now? Society, we are going to grapple with all those questions, because it is here to stay. But again, my point is that you can still pursue your passion, even if you're do 10 projects instead of 1, because you can do so much. But encourage, I think again, we have to embrace the moment. It's a great moment that we're living through. But instead of fear, let's embrace it and let's participate in it and let's make the most of it.
All right, did you enjoy this session? And I just have to say his name, so Sprint says I feel like you have like a language or something over there. All right, so I do want to say something though, to set that kind of piggybacks on your question that you asked. How many of you remember phone numbers I used to remember back in the day? Raise your hand. You remember 10 phone numbers? Raise your hand if you remember 10 people's phone numbers. Okay, that's 3 people out of 1 million that's in this room. So, technology doesn't necessarily make you smarter all the time. You have to realize that. I used to remember everybody's phone number. How many of you know your credit card numbers? Okay, you know your kids' social security numbers? Okay, all right, we need to follow these people home because they have really good memories. This time we need to learn them. So, this is the thing. We are going to take a break. I want to thank Frank so much because Frank ended a little bit early so that we can have a 10-minute break so that we can stay on schedule. Anybody that knows me and what we do to the people, we make sure we stay on time, okay? So we want to stay on time and respect your time. This is your time to go to the restroom, to go to some of the exhibitors, and at 11:30, we want you right back in these seats because we have an amazing marketing presentation for you, okay? All right, break time, everybody.
Because I ended him 10 minutes early, you can start ready. Okay. You don't understand how type A personality I am about that time. It drives me wild. Okay, you can hear that. Yeah. So you'll be able to start ready. Okay. Yep. Oh, let's go right up. Oh, okay.
I'll try for these classes on the road. It's more talking than the slides, but so you can get it. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I can. Yeah, perfect. Now, before so
Guess what? We go to lunch at the lunch. Okay. Okay. So it's not like it's going to another school. Okay. So, you know, it's one right there.
So I've got this one with the and these are next one. So I got one for this, but I don't have anything for her. Are you not able to see the cash?
She's just gonna talk about how they can help.
Except when they take my phone. This guy right here, I'm supposed to do him because he's the so yes. Okay,
I'll get you out there, I'll tell you which one it is. You guys have sound too? Yes.
You hear me? A little bit. You hear me sit down?
All right, everybody, we have 4 minutes, and then we want to see those G's and C's for our next presentation. 4 minutes, 4 minutes.
Jerry,
Are you up there?
I am.
I was here last year.
Oh, you were okay.
So we're queued up for the video. You're just gonna hit restart. So I'm gonna wait for a second.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. So.
All right, we have 60 seconds, aka 1 minute, and we're going to be starting with our next presentation. It is going to be awesome. We're talking about some good things with marketing, and we see that we have a lot of good selfies taking place, a lot of good pictures taking place, and I do want to let you guys know now, after this next presentation, it will be lunchtime. And what we're going to do during lunch is we'll be recording some testimonials about what you thought today. It'll give you an opportunity to kind of shout your business out. And so during lunch, we're going to be right out here on this outside patio, and we'll be recording. So if you want people to know about your business, and you also want to tell people about the amazing time you had here today, we would love for you to get a testimonial. We'll be right out here on the balcony. Right?
I'll get you the video. We have some music.
Okay. Can everybody look and see what time it is? It is 11:30, which means we are going to be starting our next presentation. And we have an amazing speaker that is coming up here for you. So put your hands together. You guys ready? Woo, 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 woo. Put your hands together. Let's get going. All right. Next up, we have Toya Wilson, so put your hands together for Toya.
Did everybody enjoy the first presentation? Yes, because I saw most of the hands go up and bring in if you use the AI. So if you ever. What we just met.
Can you all hear me now? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So Frank asked, how many of you have used AI before? And the majority of the hands in the room went up, yes? So we know how helpful it can be. But now I'm going to give you some strategies on how AI can take your marketing to the next level. Are you all excited about that? I am too. So the name of this presentation is Small Business, Big Results. Small business, big results. Now, if you've ever heard me speak before to give a webinar, because I've been hanging around Acre Community College for the last 10 years, then you know I'm all about what? Engagement, right? So I'm going to give you the passion and the information. You're going to give me what? Starts with the E. Exactly. But before we jump in, let me say this. It's so good to be back in Wilmington and be back in a place that feels like home. Because Wilmington is one of those places that love small business owners. So give yourselves a round of applause for being in the house today. So, I'm going to start with a story. And the story is about a small business owner named Sarah. Now, Sarah is not the actual lady's name. I protected it to change the innocence, right? Keep our identity safe. But I think it's a story that a lot of us can relate to. Sarah is smart, she's savvy, she's in the self-care, skincare, she makes wonderful body butter, candles, bath bombs, lip glosses with her daughter. She has 2 adult children, she's married, she does her business by night, and she's a nurse practitioner by day. She has big dreams, right? But she's overwhelmed because she feels like she has to do search engine optimization, her email marketing, social media ads, then she has to actually make her products. Can anybody relate to Sarah? Yes, right? I was Sarah several years back. I was drowning under my to-do list. Somebody said, Toya, you should get a virtual assistant. I went and got a fiance instead. So, but I also got a virtual assistant. Now, with AI, we don't have to pay for a virtual assistant, right? They work for us 24/7. In seconds, right? All we have to do is train. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you are overwhelmed like Sarah was with all the things on your to-do list, I don't know what that's not it's supposed to be, but it's a man covered in Post-it notes, then I'm going to give you not only the strategy, right? But I'm going to pick up where Frank left off about prompts. And what those prompts should look like, and how you can use them starting this afternoon if you're an overachiever, when you get home, to take your marketing to the next level. But before we do that, how many people think that AI is new? Like, how many people think that AI really came out in 2021, 2020, 2022? Anybody? No? Okay, so I'm going. Okay. Well, Alex Hormozi is about to tell us exactly when things shifted.
On November 30th, 2022, the world changed forever. Artificial intelligence, or AI, became accessible to the public for free through a tool called ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
A robot you can talk to.
Robots, conversations.
Okay. So ChatGPT changed everything, right? For most of us. Now, I was using Jasper AI. Anybody ever heard of Jasper? Yeah, we were using Jasper before ChatGPT came out. And Jasper was good, wasn't great. We were using it, trying to learn how to leverage it for our clients. But when ChatGPT was launched, it shifted, it tilted the world, right? 1 million users in how many days? 5. But AI isn't new. As you can see at the bottom in 1956, the term artificial intelligence came to be at a conference, probably something similar to this one at Dartmouth College, right? And then we go through the timeline and we start to see that language models progress, and ChatGPT was just user-friendly, right? I could type something in and it would give me an answer back. What it did was it made artificial intelligence easier to use. And do we like easy? Yes. Yeah, we like easy. And that, to me, in my opinion, is why people love AI. Now, does it have some issues? Yes. Do we feel like AI is the antagonist to traditional marketing strategies? Yes. It is, in fact, difficult to understand in some cases, but AI, artificial intelligence, also known as ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude AI, and all the hundreds or thousands of tools that have come out since then, is impossible to ignore. Difficult to understand, impossible to ignore. So we're going to break down how you can use it and turn it into the hardest working team or member of your team. Because it's one thing to use it. It's a whole different ballgame when you're using it correctly, right? So, the revolution begins, and we start to see that AI can do quite a few good things. It can automate repetitive tasks, which is my favorite. Some people are looking at it as an opportunity now instead of a threat. But one thing that is making it so incredibly useful for marketers and entrepreneurs who are using it is that it actually can give you a competitive edge in a changing market, right? I think Frank said the only thing that's constant is change, right? So when we can use AI to predict the next set of trends or what people are graduating towards or interested in or where they're clicking on our website, does that give us an advantage? It does. And then if we can personalize customer experiences, then we can start to establish a connection with our customers, and then they keep coming back and spending what? Money, right? And while we're in business because we're passionate about something, about a service or a product, I love teaching, right? I love marketing, so I get to do both. But I also like to eat and sleep and go on vacation, right? And so if my business is making money, I can be happy and productive as well, having a positive impact on my community. So personalizing customer experiences, we're going to spend some time on it in the next few minutes because that's super important, and AI can give you the leverage that you need to make sure that not only are your customers coming back, but they're telling other people about you and your business. So, example number one, because I do like a good case study, right? If somebody has used AI successfully in their business and they're in my niche or my industry, does that mean I can do it too? Yes, very much so. And so I like to use case studies in my presentations because I want you to know that these people have done it, these businesses have done it, and you can do it too. So, how many people love to create content for social media? A few of you, right? I need your names and numbers because I'm gonna have a job for you out here. is that it can actually create content very quickly. Notice I said it can create content. Did I say good content? Did I say great content? Did I say engaging content? Right? So one of the things that we have to do with content is we have to make sure that we put our own little fingerprint, our own personal touch on it. So you can't just take social media posts for Facebook out of ChatGPT or Claude AI and paste it and say, here we go. You will hear crickets. But we're going to talk about, hey, ChatGPT, I fed you 20 of my last emails. Tell me my personality. Tell me my tone. And then rewrite these 20 Facebook posts. Anybody do that? So step one, just let me park it for a few minutes. You can feed any language model, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude AI, take your pick, Jasper. You can feed it your emails, your essays, your book, whatever it is that you have written without the help of AI, and say, analyze it for my own personal tone, right? And it will give you a really nice detailed response back. And then you're going to say, now write 20, however many you want, 50 Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, in my tone. Do you see how that automatically changes the game at that point? Right? We put a different spin on it. So you want to make sure that you're taking blog posts and any kind of word and putting it in your tone. But let's go back to AI generated images, right? Because generated images are super important. You can create logos, you can create brand kits using AI tools like DALL-E, which is part of ChatGPT, Leonardo AI, and Midjourney. But my new favorite is Kittl, K-I-T-T-L, and Runway Camille. And y'all, it's free. Because anybody who knows me knows that I love something that's free. And they make professional looking images that you can use straight out the box. But I will give you this one thing. Do not take the first thing it gives you. You gotta do it at least once. You gotta do it at least once. Okay? So do y'all mind if I come to the floor? Because I feel like I'm far away from you. Do y'all mind? Okay, let me come on down. Let me come on down. Because I really need us to get into the thing, because I see the looks on y'all's faces like, we hear you, Toya. We got you. But we still don't really know if it's going to save us time. But if y'all sit with me for the next about 20 minutes, I'm going to deliver on that guarantee, okay? So, video editing. Now, I've been talking about video for the last 6-7 years. Jerry, if he's in the room, will attest I've been talking about video and video marketing for years now. But video is difficult to produce, correct? Good video. So if you want the kind of video that you see on YouTube with the intros and the great audio and the slides coming in and out, it's hard. It takes time. It takes time to do that because we're not video editors. We didn't go to school for it. We didn't take a course on it. So I was guilty. I mean, my videos on YouTube suck, right? Until AI came out. And with tools like Descript and InVideo, you no longer have to take a course. It's user-friendly. It's easy, right? So did you all know that InVideo AI, which unfortunately is a paid product, can take your voice, clone it, and then you can give it a URL, like a website address to an article, like let's say an article came out in your niche or industry, you're like, this is news and I want to be the first one to break it, but I don't have time to shoot a video or write up a blog post. It can actually do a video on that article, summarizing it, giving the highlights in your voice. Did y'all know that? So somebody, raise your hand if you knew that. Have you tried it yet? It's kind of nice, isn't it? Especially if you edit it, it's cool. So for those of you that have not tried it, you gotta try it, right? You gotta try it. Okay. So let me tell you one more. The scripts. The script is cool because if you have content already out there, it can transcribe it and edit it, and you can even change and take out all the ums or the ands or when you forgot in the video, like I just did. And you can scrub that from the video. And it's pretty seamless. It's pretty seamless. Now, one more. Do you all want one that's free? Yes. CapCut. We like free, right? We like free. CapCut is my favorite. So every time I tell a client they need to be doing video, I get the pins and the hobs and so I just can't. But what if, and I can afford, I get all of this and the video. And so one client who is a hairstylist and an entrepreneur up in Pittsburgh discovered CapCut, and he said, this is the most amazing tool ever. Because he said he wasn't taking. You can actually edit it within a matter of 2 minutes or less. Great tool. Now, before we leave this, do we have anybody that's selling any products online? Whether it's Etsy, Shopify, a few. Okay. So we know that personalized product descriptions, especially if it's a customizable product, is important, correct? Yes. Tools like Copysmith and Jasper, the new Jasper, are really good at studying your competitors and giving you great product descriptions that belong to your product that will increase conversion. How do I know? I tested it. So when I saw ChatGPT came out, I was like, I might not have a job in 2 years. What am I gonna do? So I started creating t-shirts and coffee mugs and stickers, and y'all know people are making money. Like, I said, so I put some stuff on Etsy. And Jasper AI is real good. I just didn't have a lot of time to try to come up with a product description. So I'm not telling you something I've heard. I know because we used it. So check those out. So example number 2 is repurposing content. You all have content already? Yes. Right? Probably have content sitting on your hard drive, like some blog posts. Remember when blogging was the whole thing? 10 years ago, and people said you got to blog, at least every day, or once a week at the very least. So most people have at least some blog posts. And if you have some blog posts like I do or we do, they were sitting on your hard drive collecting dust. But they don't have to. You can transcribe them and make them into a podcast. You can translate them, which is my new favorite. Right? I thought Google Translate wasn't very good, and we tested it because we wrote a children's book. We translated it into Spanish. And I gave it to one of my really good friends who speaks fluent Spanish. And she was like, oh, this is like 95% accurate. I was like, what? So if you've been looking to expand markets, and you need to create a landing page or a website, or you have a blog post that you would like to translate, Google Translate is great. You can summarize things, whether it's your YouTube videos or longer blog posts, and repurpose them that way. You can personalize things like your emails. You can optimize content for the newest Google update coming out. But there's so many things that you can do to repurpose content. Now, one of my clients was a dentist, right? And she said, Toya, I have a ton of blog posts that our old social media marketing manager wrote on services that we do, and they're just sitting there. Is there something that we can do with it, right? And so I said, well, of course there is. She wasn't ranking on Google page 1 at that point. They had lost their rank. And so we took a tool called Spin Rewriter. Anybody ever heard of that? Spin, first word, rewriter, second word. and we dumped those blog posts in there and made like 365 posts for her every day of the year. From her content that was already there. We didn't do anything different. We added the tones, and do you know what happened that was an unintended consequence? Remember I said she didn't rank on Google page 1. She all of a sudden, and she wasn't in the Google Maps, because we weren't working on that, we wasn't hired for that. But she was ranking at the bottom of Google page 1 because she was in Google obscurity before that, right? So now she has social media posts for LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and she's now ranking on Google page 1. Kind of cool tool, right? Now, spin right. Now, yes, Jameson Printing, local print company in Chicago, Illinois, used a tool called Lookup. I thought it was a weird name at first, Looka. But when I got on Lookup and realized that you could create a logo, a media brand kit, and all the things, I said, oh my gosh, this is amazing, in a matter of a few minutes. He expanded his print company, because all he was doing was printing, and started offering their customers, hey, if you're launching a new business and you need brand materials, brand assets, we do that too. He didn't have a lot of time, so Lucas was able to do that for him. Kind of nice, right, to add an extra revenue stream into your business, right? So these AI tools aren't nice to have. In some cases, they're necessary to have, correct? So if you're looking to increase your revenue because maybe it's a side hustle for you right now, but you're hoping to turn it into a full-time income, these tools can change your bottom line. All right, next slide. So example 3 is about chatbots. Has anybody ever interacted with a chatbot? Did you like it? Right, it just wasn't intuitive, right? So Airbnb had actually tried to deploy a chatbot, and I was trying to use Airbnb for the first time, and it was giving me, I was looking for South Bend, Indiana, a rental property, and it gave me South Dakota, and I was like, what? And it was taking more time than I had or was willing to give at the time. This was early on when chatbots first kind of launched. Now, chatbots are really very helpful.
Hi, thank you. We do still have a presentation going on, so everybody in the back, we would love for you to bring that down to a center. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, yes, it's somebody. So, chatbots were not great when they first started. They have improved. And as we progress, AI tools that frustrate us, right, like DALL-E and Midjourney sometimes, will improve. So we're just at the beginning, right? This is like if you're a baseball fan, the first inning, maybe second. So now, chatbots can be a customer service agent for you while you're on vacation, or you're sleeping, or you're handling other tasks. And they can answer frequently asked questions, because when you have new customers, do they sometimes ask you the same questions? Yeah, right? This is not a particular industry. This is everybody. You get the same questions to ask. So chatbots can answer some of those commonly asked questions that takes up your time. So when you're ready to work with them, or you're in the process of having a conversation, you already somewhat know what they need, because the chatbot has filled in those questions for you. So Sephora came back to the chatbot game and said, let's try this again. And now their chatbot lives on their website giving skincare advice 24/7. Do you know what that translated into in terms of dollars? 35% increase in sales year over year. 35%, I think it's 37, 38, I'll round down, 35%, right? So are chatbots now decent to at least think about? Yes, because they put the chatbot in place, they fed it the information they needed to, and then they just let it go and test it. Next slide. So, Before I started my business, productivity was not a word that I embraced, right? I usually would stay up until 2, 3 in the morning doing all of the repetitive tasks. And so after AI came along, I said I need to learn about, quote, streamlined workflows. I the statement, you had me at streamlined workflows because now I get to go get them. What streamlined workflows can do, all joking aside, is those repetitive tasks that you do, like content creation, like sending out emails, handling customer service issues, right? Those things can now be handled by AI. So email marketing, I send out a weekly email. And I used to struggle to be on time with the weekly email, right? Because I'm like, oh shoot, it's Thursday night, it's supposed to come out Friday morning. Can anybody relate to me? Right? So now I have my emails scheduled out through September. And Claude AI can help me to do that. And then I use ConvertKit to automate the whole thing. So I don't ever look at it, I just respond to the emails that come through. And at first I thought that my subscribers would say, oh my gosh, she's not writing these emails because I'm thinking in my head I'm using AI. And instead, I'm getting responses because I did what I told you to do. I trained it on my tone, and I'm getting responses I never got before, like, oh, Tori, that was a great email on SEO. I need to talk to you about that. Can we schedule a call? I was like, what? And people I hadn't talked to in years that have been sitting on my email list and never said anything was like, oh my God, I love that example that you used in the email. And I'm looking back at the email like, what example did I use? Right? So it really can automate repetitive tasks. Now, in my case, I use Claude AI because it sounds more human, right, than ChatGPT. But I also use ConvertKit, the paid version, to schedule it out. You can also, we're going to skip over optimized resource allocation because you all can see that. It can enhance decision making. So data analytics, albeit not sexy, is necessary, right? So if you are using paid ads, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, doesn't matter, Google, doesn't matter. If you're using paid ads, right, how many people feel like it's expensive? It can be a little pricey. How many people feel like it's worth it? See, we're losing hands. What ChatGPT can do for you, or Google Gemini, or Meta, AI tools, can do for you is you can feed it the data from your ad results, and it will tell you exactly what you need to do. You don't have to pay a consultant like me. You don't have to sit through another webinar and learn how to do it, unless you want to, unless you're bored. You can feed it the information, and it will tell you what you need to do. A/B tests, these things. Yes, ma'am. Not in ConvertKit, in ChatGPT. So ChatGPT will tell you exactly with your ads, your social media paid ads. If you feed it that report that you can get from the ads manager in Facebook, just take a picture and feed it into ChatGPT, right? And it can ask you to analyze it and give you like 5 recommendations on how to improve my conversion, right? Or 10 ways that I can improve my ad creatives to lead to more click-throughs or clicks. It will do those things. I use it for Amazon ads. It's very helpful. So there's no more guesswork in terms of what creative should I use. I tried these, I got 10 sales, okay, great, but I need 200, right? Let AI tools do the heavy lifting for you. Okay, one other thing that I wanted to cover is predict and prevent issues. Most people don't use AI as a forecaster, right? It does not ask, hey, what's on the horizon for marketing consultants in the next 5 years? Do you think? It doesn't ask, what do you think based on the last 12 months of trends on Etsy, the top products of 2024 will be? Most people don't ask those questions. Do they or do you? No. Okay, so you've learned something something new just with this, correct?
Yes.
So I've done my job and I can quit? No, okay. So when you're using ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude AI, or other AI tools, don't forget to ask it to give you some insight into what the trends are based on historical data. See, most people are afraid of data analysis because it involves math, and we don't like math, right? We're not crazy about numbers, so we don't do it. So we make decisions from our gut. How do I know? I did it, right? Now we make decisions based on data. We go where the numbers tell us to go. We don't guess. We don't ask people because, when you send out a survey, how many people actually respond? Right? Right. And so now we're asking AI to tell us, based upon what they see on the web, give us some ideas of what is coming in the future so we can start to go and be before the masses get there. Make sense? Did I explain that well enough?
Yes.
Because y'all, I'm working on one cup of coffee. And I was in the car for 12 hours, 8 hours one day and 3.5 hours with a 14-year-old and a dog and another person. So y'all know I need at least 3 cups, right? Okay. Next slide, please. So these are some global superpowers that have leveraged AI to their benefit, right? But I have one space left open because that space is left open for the small business owners that are bold enough and courageous enough to use AI to their advantage. No longer do big businesses with millions of dollars in their marketing budgets, with hundreds of millions of dollars at their disposal, have to run the game. We as small business owners now can compete thanks to AI. So is AI all bad? No, it's not. It's going to be bad to the people that don't use it. Next slide. So, now that we know that AI is accessible to every business, let's talk about its affordability, right? We already know that we can get insights. So I just finished talking about the prompts and the questions that you need to put into it to give it data to forecast some things. We know that you can automate some workflows. Predictive analysis is part of that. Personalized recommendations, though, is something that people don't really integrate into their marketing. They don't integrate it into their website. They don't integrate it into their email marketing. So for people, for example, when I started talking about AI, doing workshops on AI, I actually sent out a series of emails. And I took all the people that clicked on the I want to learn more button in the email, and I put them on a separate list. And I started sending them things about AI and invitations to webinars. Do you think the conversion rate of the people that opened that email went up through the roof? Yeah, it did, because I was sending content to those people that they were already interested in instead of sending it to everybody. Now, there's going to be someone after me from Constant Contact, Aaron, that's going to talk about email segmentation and email marketing with AI. So I want you all to make sure that you pay attention. This is going to be amazing in terms of how you can integrate personalized recommendations in your email to increase conversions and therefore increase revenue. Because we all want to make a little bit more money, correct? Yes. Right? Yes. Next slide. So I always say, show me the money. Literally, show me the money. So I want to just show you an AI tool, and I'm not going to talk about all 3 of these, but Jasper, because I use Jasper. It was the first AI tool we ever used as a team. I love it. It has a special place in my heart. So we're going to talk about it. Jasper costs anywhere between $24 to $50 a month. They're changing the pricing every now and then. There is no conversion, but it is beneficial. Its business impact is that it can really help with content creation. It can reduce time, but it does amazing jobs with copywriting. Now, anybody who's ever taken a course, I took a 5-month course on copywriting copywriting because we thought it would change the game for us that much. Knows that copywriting is not easy, right? Now with AI though, we can just tell it. So write us a, series of emails, series of product descriptions, using whatever copywriting framework, whether it's Ada or whatever, to refine or edit our content. But what are the key metrics, right? It makes content production faster, but if you have to hire a copywriter, do you think that they're going to accept a thank you? No, it's pretty expensive. So for businesses that have the budget, and now businesses that don't have a budget, it lowers copywriting costs. That can be a game changer. That is the bottom line of AI. Are y'all with me? Do y'all see it? Yes. Okay. Next slide. So here's what I want to kind of leave you with as we start to wrap up. And I'll open it for a few questions. We're still in the early phases, right? Again, if you're a baseball fan, even if you're a football fan, we're still in the first quarter of AI. We're going to see the tools change. We're going to see them evolve. We're going to see them improve. We're talking about augmented reality now, Web 3.0, and all the things. The capabilities we've covered today are just a glimpse of what's to come. So don't lose your AI advantage. That's fine. So what's your secret AI playbook? First thing is, you gotta assess, are you ready for it? What are you ready? I don't say jump in with both feet. Think about how you can integrate it into your email marketing. If you know that you have a hard time sending out emails on a regular basis, but you've heard email marketing can increase your revenue or increase your sales, start there. If you know that content production is a sore spot in your business or you're a solopreneur, start there, but assess your readiness. Then choose the right tools. I always say start free and then work your way up. Integrating, right? Train yourself or your team or both on how it works. Learn everything about it. Don't just use it once or twice and say it does not work. Right? Learn everything about it. Watch some YouTube videos, attend some webinars, attend some, and see if you can learn what you need to know. And then continuously test. And when you're ready, scale up. Anybody have any questions about the secret AI? Yes. Okay. So yes, there's a question.
I'm Olivia with the North Carolina Military Business Center. The only question I really have is, the names of the AI programs that you particularly spoke about, is there a way that you would be able to get that information?
You know, I will check with Jenny and see if she can send out the slides.
You're wonderful.
Yes, I will make sure she tries to do that. So the revolution is here, right? We've been talking about it. This whole day is about it. The question is, will you use AI to revolutionize your reach? That's the question that you're leaving here with. If it's a yes, let's do a big old round of applause. We'll be in the back. Much success to you. Thank you.
All right, did I tell you guys are gonna be amazing and dynamic? So, a couple of questions. Do you feel more empowered to use AI now?
Yes.
Okay, how many of you didn't really know anything about AI before this and thought she was talking about Allen Iverson? Jackie was like, yeah, I didn't know. I'm glad he got his Reebok money now too. So with that, and some of y'all don't know that they're so so the thing is, we are going to have lunch, but some people weren't in here when I made the announcement a little bit earlier, and some people weren't. What we're going to do this year, because last year we did some recordings out on the lovely balcony out there, so this way you can tell people a little bit about your business, but also this year what we want to do is we want to do some testimonials. So if you heard something that resonated with you today from our first speaker, if you learned something from our second speaker just about AI in general, if you now feel more empowered, like you just told me that you did from this presentation, then I just want to make sure that you are having a great time today. If you love the presenter, the cute little chocolate face up here with all this colorful hair and this great skirt, that's another thing. You can say that too. So all of those things, but we're gonna do that during lunch, so we're gonna do these videos 1 minute or less. This is not like, pulling teeth or anything. But what happens is, these things right now are, how much did you pay to get here today? Free, right? And so we want to be able to keep them free, which is why when we have these resources out here and you tell people about how great your time was, what it does is it increases engagement for the next year and the next set of programs that's out here. And so we want people to know that it was awesome. Like, we know it was awesome because we were here, but we want other people to be able to know that. So we're going to be doing some of those outside. Lunch will be out there as well. And I would just say, we have another presentation, well, we have 2 more after lunch, and then I get to wrap up. So this is what I know. They put me on last because I'm like super awesome. But I mean, I'm also the MC, so therefore, that means that I gotta go last. But the great thing about this is, I'm gonna show you a lot of stuff to wrap up the day. So if you felt overwhelmed already with all this information, raise your hand. Because I know somebody is overwhelmed, okay? I gotta hear you overwhelmed, okay? I like that, we'll take that. But the thing is, it's not that it's not a lot of information, because it is a lot of stuff to learn. But you have to always take into consideration my favorite C word, which is capacity. And so you're gonna take what you have today, and I'll kind of wrap it up for you at the end. So if you can stay to the end, I would love to have you at the end, because I'm gonna give you all of the energy, and you're also gonna get a whole bunch of great things that some of these individuals spoke about, but that will actually show you in practice today. And so at the end, I'm gonna give you that 90-day focus, okay? So now, can you give yourselves a round of applause for being here already today? I love that. Now I'm gonna ask you something that's gonna seem really crazy, but if you know me, you know what I love at every event, and we're gonna do it now, because I have a feeling that there will be some people that leave, right? Is there somebody that's getting ready to leave? You trying to skate out on me right now? Okay, I know, I already tell you that, you don't have to leave. All right, what I want you to do is come up here, and we're gonna take one big gigantic group picture, okay? So let's do that, and then we're gonna break for lunch. Now, if you wanna get on the stage, it's at your own risk. Okay, but get on the stage or come up to the front, and we want to be where the sign is so we can see everybody. We want to have proof that all these millions of people were here. Come on up, everybody. Okay, don't go that way though. I'm gonna hit those stairs. Hit the stairs. Okay. Okay, see, this is what I said. This is not to say insurance, y'all. Robert, can I borrow you really quickly? Okay, you be it? No, sir, the stairs. Okay, Jerry, Jenny, do we have anybody else? Okay, exhibitors, now's your chance. Jody, come on up here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Do not fall off the stage. You understand, everybody? That is your instruction. You are not allowed to fall off the stage. Okay, where's the professional photographer at with the really big, pretty camera? Is he here? Okay, he might be on. We have phones. Okay. We have phones, right? Okay, so everybody, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, and then he's gonna take a picture, okay? Okay, now, Robert, can we get you one more thing? Can you turn it to video? Press the video for me. Now, let me tell you, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, but we're gonna say give it to the people. Y'all ready for that? Okay, all right. 1, 2, 3. Give it to the people! Woo! Okay, yes. Okay, the small business summit is rocking. It's time for lunch. We're gonna come with some music. Still, go ahead and check out the exhibitors. And again, if you want to do a little testimonial, come on out here to the balcony and we'll be ready for those testimonials.
Oh, gosh, we're so cool.
I don't have a photo. Yeah? No, she is screaming. So it may be recorded on her. It says 15 people. Thank you, sir.
All right, everybody, we are still doing our testimonials. You can talk about your business perspective, your experience, everything out here on the beautiful balcony. So feel free to come on down here and join us on the balcony and let us do a testimonial.
Have you already tried it?
I haven't, but I saw this.
This. This.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. It should work, but you know, I've looked at it. I'm just gonna switch to we have issues with these sometimes just because it's doing like adapter.
Multiple adapters.
What resolution is this on?
I don't know. Actually, you know how to find that?
Definitely not Mac. It looks like it's looking settings. Settings there. Look at these.
Oh, that might work. Actually, yeah.